I want to give massive thanks to all of my supporting members and patrons. Thank you all so very much. Hello, good evening and welcome. 69, dude. 69 watching right at the start of the stream. I think that may be a record, although I can't recall on Mage. But it's certainly a darn good show. Good show, chaps, and welcome to you all. I've got a couple of super chats to read straight off the top. Let me do that. Let me refresh. So the first super chat was from Eric here. For $5 US. Thank you, Eric. I would like to send him, I guess that means Mitch, send him from Australia to Santiago, Chile. We should have a fundraiser so he can be on that plane. I vote we only pay for him to go halfway. Do you see what I did there? And Mr. Nalpinion super chatted 55 highly polished Swedish krona. I'm catching up on YouTube after only being away for about 10 days. I see you're still fighting flirts though. Good. Well, thank you now. I don't know where you've been, but I hope you had a good time. I would like to say Dora Nku, and I did see you in the chat a few minutes ago. Dora Nku dropped me a super chat right at the end of my last stream after I had exited, although I did reply. Yeah, that was a cheeky little super chat, Dora. If anyone wants to see it, they're going to have to go back and watch the stream again. But you know what you said. Made me smile. So, why was I late by a couple of minutes? The reason I was late by a couple of minutes is I decided that tonight I really need one of these. Yeah, a Bailey's. The stupid from Mr. Mitchell from Australia is too stupid. I had told him I was going to do this stream after he did his 30 debunks of my 30 evidences. I told him I would be doing this stream, and I told him that I would be doing it tonight, and I told him that I would be doing it tonight at this time. And so what's he done? He's doing a live stream. Well, I say he's doing a live stream. He did have a live stream set up for 8 problems with the globe Earth, and a few minutes ago that disappeared, and I thought, A up, he's changed his mind. But no, he's put up a different stream that's called No Problems with the Flat Earth. Well, he's right, actually. There's no problems with the flat Earth because the Earth ain't flat, Mitch. Anyway, good evening to you all. Some new names there. Russell Curry, good evening. Storm Runner, Citizen 9. I think I've seen you before. Kooky Pan, I've not seen that name before. Good evening and welcome to you. All the usuals, of course. So many of you. So many of you fine people keep coming back. That's got to be a good sign, hasn't it? I think that I need to give you a little bit of a rundown, just as background for what's going on tonight. DITRH has a challenge where he is offering 3 bitcoins for one piece of evidence that proves the globe. Now, when he was on Mitchell's stream, he actually said, people should get my app or buy it for your friends or whatever. It's only $3. And you can watch a video every day for 2 weeks and then we can talk about it. And then he said, I'm giving 3 bitcoins for one piece of evidence. Well, I took that to mean that one evidence would earn you 3 bitcoins. Not that I thought there's the slightest chance of him paying up. People predicted, quite rightly, that they'll say, aha, you haven't bought the app. Aha, you haven't watched the videos for 2 weeks. So if anyone fancies spending out and lining DITRH's pocket to the tune of $3 and can bear the idea of 2 weeks of his videos, feel free to take any one of my evidences and supply it in order to earn 3 bitcoins. I'm a reasonable bloke. you can bung me half a Bitcoin's worth of cash back. How's that then? So it's open to anyone. So yes, he had made that offer while on Mitch's stream. So I decided to do this evidence. Nay, I decided to provide 30 because I could quite easily. And what did Mitch do? He did a video. In his video, he debunked all 30. No, wait. No. He had a wild stab in the dark at all 30, which incidentally is something he'll receive if he carries on with his stupidity. So he did his video where he apparently and allegedly smashed all my 30 evidences. He hasn't. And so I thought it would be nice, it would be pleasurable, it would be fun to take all 30 of his debunks and show him why he's an idiot. And that is the purpose of tonight. It would be nice if Mitchell turned up, but we know he's not. Oh, a good evening to you, Sean. Good evening to you, Sean. Sean, something will crop up later that you'll recognise. It is purely coincidental. Okay, my friend? And I'll give you credit for it too at the time. And hello, room. Hello, Mr. Sensible, says Milan. Ondrak, hello to you too. And now we got 139. I think that's a good number of people. I've got my Baileys, so I guess we better start because we've got a lot of stupid to get through. Right, let me just get things reorganised. What I will say is I will read any super chats every 5 evidences. I'll put little breakpoints in my notes because I don't want to get bogged down too soon. And I also don't want to forget any super chats. So I thought that's probably a good compromise. Let's get that changed and get that changed. And here we go. I'm little now. It's little me. Right. So I should have Mitch's video. Let me just switch it on. There we go. Right, and I think I need to work in that mode so changes I make go live straight away. Right, so have you girded your loins? Have you got yourself a nice stiff drink ready? Because I think you're going to need them. But does Baileys taste like chocolate milk? Because that's what I'm drinking. Yeah, it's sort of chocolate milk plus. Right, okay. Sorry, I have watched this several times, and each time I can't believe his stupidity. He debunks himself no end. So I've got his video going. Let's make sure I've got desktop audio on. Let's hit it. And right, I've got my notes. So I think we'll start off by just asking Mitch if he's got any advice for us before we start.
Hey James Mason, I'm not going to be watching the chat too much, so get your hellos in early because this is going to be a great show. So without any further ado, let's see what all the commotion's about with Mr. Sensible. It's going to be a couple of screen shares here, okay?
Yeah, it's going to be a great show, Mitch. We're looking forward to it.
It's going to be mostly screen shares. Just have to line up this tripod. It is a little bit windy, just bear with me. But it's going to be a massive, massive show, everyone.
He's right.
All right, let's see what all this commotion's about, eh?
I was watching Mitchell from Australia's Flat Earth School the other day. Well, when I say watching, I dipped in for about 30 seconds and was fortunate enough to come across something very special, something that's going to make me a lot of money.
Now that's a lie, Mr. Sensible, and you know it. You love my Flat Earth School, you watch it every day, and you are begging for content, and this is why you put out a video like this.
Not really, Mitch. I don't watch your Flat Earth show. I haven't got an hour to 2 hours every day to spend watching that crap. I literally just dip into it every now and then for any stupid. What would be handy is if you could provide direct timestamps in your video descriptions directly to the stupid. Only that would be the entire video, wouldn't it, Mitch? So it wouldn't work. Yeah, go on, carry on.
Thanks for watching, Mr. Sensible. Smash the super chat. If you want one-on-one time with me, I'm available. Just sign up to Patreon.
You think I'm going to sign up and become a patron just to talk to you? Honestly, it doesn't work like that, Mitch. You either come on my stream, I go on your stream, or we go onto a neutral stream. You don't have to become a patron of the person you're debating.
One-on-one time. Challenges out there.
So it turned out that between all the stupid, DITRH made an offer so valuable, I don't think I could possibly pass it up. You better tell us what it is, DITRH. Go ahead, David.
And say, just watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks, and then let's talk again. And I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe.
How many, David?
3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe.
3 coins and...
And David does specify there, you must download the video, watch it, download the app, watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks, and then give us 1 globe proof.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mitch. I'll give you 3 Bitcoins if in the next 5 minutes you come on this stream and you can recite in the correct accent, counting down from 10 to 1 in Swahili. You have 5 minutes. He won't do it. I hope he won't do it. Perhaps I withdraw that, just in case he can do it. But Mitch, what does it matter? If I can evidence it's a globe, if I can provide evidence that doesn't jive with flat Earth, then I have met the main challenge, haven't I? But no matter. And actually, I had absolutely zero hope of David paying up anyway. Come on, get on with it.
Mr. Sensible, can you do that? Have you downloaded the app? Have you watched the video for 2 weeks? And just give us 1 globe proof. Fast forward the video a little bit because this is a bit ridiculous. Keeps going through. Yeah, how many times we got to do it?
It's called
confirms
humour.
How many times? Yeah.
For 1 proof of the globe.
Well, it
1
seems very
proof.
straightforward, David.
Very
3
straightforward.
Bitcoins in return for 1 proof of the globe Earth. That's a deal, a wager, a contract.
A very real and legally binding sense.
Okay, so here we go. Prepare to pay up, Mr. Vice. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, you're not going to accept that one.
So that was number 1, apparently. That is globe proof number 1.
Yep.
Just for you that missed it, globe proof number 1 is that, I don't know what he's claiming here. He's just making some sounds and showing a sunset or sunrise and something getting blocked. I'm assuming he's claiming the physical Earth curve horizon, the geometric horizon, that thing that we don't see anymore. That thing when he was showing the black swan.
I'll stop you there a second, Mitch. Yeah, I'm showing sunset. I'm showing the sun hidden, half hidden at that point, because the Earth is in the way, or at least the sea in this case. Yeah, and that cannot happen on a flat Earth. So let's see you actually debunk that. Come on, Mitch, debunk it.
This was his response.
At best, you would have disproved the radius of the Earth.
So obviously, when you are claiming a physical geometric horizon, you absolutely need one thing. One thing that you have said.
At best, you would have disproved the radius of the Earth.
That's right, Mr. Sensible.
Well, Mitch, I'm going to introduce you to something, and all you fine people out there, it's Mitch's cherry pick counter, because I want to play you the full clip from that Mitchell versus myself debate that was on Fight the Flat Earth. Here we go.
So, if P, the Earth has a radius of 3959 miles, then
Yep.
Q, every single geometric horizon distance can be no more than 1.22 miles times the
Agreed.
square root of the observer height in feet. Yep.
Agreed. Yep.
And so the black swan image that we have shows a horizon far in the distance past 1.22 miles. This is at 1 foot. Even if you say it's 5 feet, the geometric horizon should be 2.77 miles. And so not Q, we do not have a geometric horizon at that distance. So not P, the Earth is not a globe of 3959 miles.
Okay.
So unless you
so
assert that the globe has a bigger radius.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. At best, what you have done, if that was all correct, at best you would have disproved the radius of the Earth, not that it's not a globe, not that refraction so on doesn't doesn't exist.
Could you just put my camera up for a second?
Yeah, so Mitch, that was a quote mine. It was cherry picking. And you said it twice. So you're going to get an initial 2 count for your cherry picking argument, which isn't an argument. I didn't say you have disproved the radius. I have said if everything you said was correct, then at best you would have disproved the radius of the globe, not that it's not a globe. You cherry picking Australian. So let's see how you carry on.
If you're going to claim things like this is number 1 of 30 that he is claiming there's globe proof. If you're going to claim this is globe proof, at best, all you've done is disprove the radius of the Earth. Yeah, that kind of really, totally, absolutely, unequivocally debunks every single globe proof you're going to put forward, Mr. Sensible.
And in that argument, you had said, according to your modus tollens, that you said the distance to the geometric horizon, and then show a black swan photo which relies on the optical or the apparent horizon. So everything you said was not correct. So you hadn't debunked the radius.
You have to have the R value to have a globe in the first instance. So I could just stop here. Every single one of these 31 proofs that you're going to give me have already been debunked by your own words, Mr. Sensible. But I'm not going to stop here because this is going to be too much fun. All right, let's go to number 2.
Oh, you're not going to accept that one. Right, I'm going to give you an assortment of other evidences that prove the globe. Well, I've shown evidence 1. Here's evidence number 2. Depending on the time of day and the angle you look, you can see the sun shining from underneath the clouds. Impossible on a flat Earth.
Impossible on a flat Earth, is it, Mr. Sensible?
Yes, Mitch.
Okay. Well, let's see a bit of a demonstration from something like a drone. If the drone is above my head, yeah, so it's pretty obvious that drone has an altitude above my head. If it goes out towards the horizon, I just press the forward stick, not moving it anywhere else. It's just going forward. What happens? Is it going to start appearing to dip? And what happens when it gets so far away from me, that thing above my head, when it gets so far away from me, the angle is going to appear to be below my eye level.
No, Mitch, the drone is never below your eye level. The drone cannot be below your eye level, assuming you're maintaining the same altitude. It will approach it as it goes further away, but it cannot be below it. For instance, if you're 6 foot tall and if you're flying that drone at 20 foot up, flying it away straight and level, it will always be 20 feet up. So it's never below 6 foot. I mean, what do you think eye level is, Mitch? Because I don't think you even know that. I think you're possibly thinking about line of sight. Okay.
Yeah, so it is possible that something above your head, whether it be physical or not, because the sun is definitely not physical.
Just what?
If you're far enough away from it, it is going to appear below your eye level. And also, Mr. Sensible, to have the claim of something like this, yeah, you're claiming a globe proof, sunlight underneath the clouds, you're going to need R for that, aren't you?
Ding.
What happened to your R?
Ding.
At best, all we've done is debunked the R value, the radius value. Let's continue.
Well, before you do, Mitch, you said the sun is not physical. You do realise we can look at the sun. We can see that the sun is a globe. We can see comets rounding the sun. They're deflected by the sun due to its gravity. We do see spots on the sun travelling across the face, round the back and reappearing again. We get particles from the sun. We can see what the sun is made of by taking a spectrograph. So if you're saying it's not physical, that's a claim, Mitch. You need to tell us what it is. And no, you have not debunked my sun under clouds. The sunlight's shining from beneath. As the sun is so low, it's just basically skirting the edge of the earth and shining upwards through those clouds. Carry on.
Number 3, if you're on the ground in Dubai, you can see the sunset. If you race up to the top of the Burj Al Khalifa, you can see the sunset for a second time. Again, impossible on a flat Earth.
Impossible on a flat Earth.
Yes.
Well, we don't really need to race up buildings, do we?
Don't we?
We've got...
You could
we've
run
got
really
things-
quickly up a mountain or something, I suppose, Mitch.
It's a good thing you didn't mention something like double sunsets,
That's exactly what I am talking about. A double sunset.
which I can't seem to find on my iPad right now,
Surprise,
which
surprise.
is a bit awkward. Definitely got it. So why do we need to rush up steps, Mr. Sensible, to see a double sunset when we can just use a drone? Yeah, that thing. Here we go. Here it is. Why do we need to rush up some elevator or steps, Mr. Sensible? We can just use a drone. It's funny you don't use this example of a drone.
Is it?
And the stars, which are already...
You don't need to hear my voice there, but we are going to see a double sunset here from a drone. So where is the drone, Mr. Sensible? The drone is
In the sky?
in the inertial reference frame if you think you're on a spinning globe. Yeah? Anything that leaves the spinning globe is in the inertial reference frame, like the sun. That's why the sun moves, right? That's why we
No.
see sunsets, because we're on the we're on the rotating reference frame. And then you say, yeah, you go up a building because you're still standing on the ground, and then you see the sunset again. How about on the drone, Mr. Sensible? The drone in the inertial reference frame with the sun in the inertial reference frame. You should never, ever see a sunset, sunrise, star trails, moon moving, any celestial body moving from a drone when the drone's hovering.
Mitch, you haven't got the faintest idea what you're talking about. The reason I didn't use a drone is I don't have one, and you don't need one. You can use it with a tall building and a fast elevator. You can use it by filming from 2 points, say the top of the mountain and at the base of the mountain at the same time. I believe you can even lay down on the beach, and just as the last of the sun disappears, suddenly stand up quickly and you'll just see it disappear again. Your drone is not in the inertial reference frame, Mitch. The drone is using the atmosphere to fly. The atmosphere is rotating with the Earth. It's all in the same rotating non-inertial reference frame. You haven't got the faintest idea what you're talking about. And so as your drone is flying higher, it can see around the curve exactly the same way as from the top of the Burj Khalifa. So yeah, your drone footage actually helps prove the globe. You total chuff nugget. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so, I mean, if the drone was in the inertial reference frame merely by leaving the ground, then everything that literally leaves the ground, a tennis ball thrown up, someone on a trampoline would never land on the trampoline because it's whizzed away from underneath them. But we know that doesn't happen. Mitch, you're an idiot.
It just cannot work. You are both in the inertial reference frame, and the only reason why we see the sun rise and set is because the Earth's moving. If you're not on the rotating Earth, you're not going to see anything in the sky moving.
Well, that's true. If you could literally hover in space without carrying out an orbit around the Earth, then yeah, the sun wouldn't be appearing to move. And yes, the reason we see the sun rise and sunset is because the Earth is rotating. Your problem is you don't understand the atmosphere is rotating as well, so is your drone. It's no different from that to the top of a building.
If you're on a rotating reference frame. All right, let's continue.
Please.
Number 4, the sun lights the top of mountains first at dawn, and they're still lit last at sunset.
I like this one.
Good.
Because why is it lighting the top of the mountains first and then you got a shadow? What's this shadow down here? Why is it not lighting beneath that? Is that blocked by something, Mr. Sensible?
Yep.
Perchance?
Yep.
Is that what you're claiming, that
Yep.
the sun is being blocked by something physical?
Yep.
Whatever could be physically blocking
I wonder,
the sun
Mitch.
at sunrise and sunset?
Going to see the
Is it the geometric horizon? Because we've got some clips here.
you're not going to see the geometric horizon.
No one's claiming that we see physical geometry. It's not.
Yeah? Nobody's claiming that we see physical geometry, Mr. Sensible. Nobody's claiming that we see that thing. You're claiming that line there is physical geometry of the Earth.
Yeah.
The physical Earth curve horizon. No one is claiming that. Even you yourself say, at best, all you've done is debunk the radius of the Earth. So you no longer have a physical Earth curve to block things, Mr. Sensible, are you?
Yes,
no.
we do.
You're going to need R for that, Mr. Sensible.
Ding.
Easy to explain with a globe Earth, no explanation for a flat Earth.
Right, a couple of things, Mitch. AB Science, that was, quoting about not seeing a geometric horizon. He's right. There is a geometric horizon. Due to refraction, you won't see it. That doesn't mean you physically cannot see it. It's just you don't even know if you're looking at it. So if you've got your geometric horizon and there's refraction lifting the horizon beyond it, you are seeing a geometric horizon, but you can't tell which bit of that water going away from you actually is the geometric horizon. Of course it's still there. Just the fact that you can't point to an exact location and say that is the geometric horizon doesn't make it disappear. And what do you think is casting a shadow, Mitch? It has to be something physical. How about having a look at this? This is mountains at sunset. You can see that shadow, especially from just about the 1-2 o'clock position just off centre, the shadow's going up as the sun goes down. There is no way you can cast a shadow upwards from a light source that is higher. I defy you to place an object on the ground, stand in front of it, shining a torch so that there's a shadow, and get that shadow to cast up on the ceiling, unless you're doing something stupid with a mirror or something. It will not cast upwards, Mitch. That's simple geometry. Light is travelling in straight lines. It's not coming down, bending and going straight back up again. So, I mean, yes, the only answer is the sun is lower than other objects or the actual bulk of the Earth, and so its light is cast upwards, catching the tops of those mountains, just like you can see beautifully there. Mitch, you're an idiot, and you're currently 9 on the cherry count.
Number 5. The sun casting a shadow of Mount Rainier upwards onto the base of the clouds, because the sun is at a lower elevation in the sky.
Once again, the drone observation where it moves out away from you. And what is the sun to begin with? What is the sun?
Oh, don't start on that again.
Let's see. Well, don't want to play that song. What is the sun, Mr. Sensible? Is it something that's physical and tangible and can physically be somewhere?
Yeah.
Can it physically be moving, or can we be physically moving to see it? The sun is just an apparent thing. As you just seen in this film clip, the sun is all due to perspective. It all is due to the observer's point of view. That's all the sun ever will be and ever is. To each one of these observers here, there's one observer. There's my wife. She's going to see the sun at her feet. Same as my daughter. She's going to see the sun at her feet. Same as my son. He's going to see the sun at his feet. Yeah, everyone sees the sun in their own personal perspective. So for you to claim that this is globe proof, the sun having making an angle to something, you're going to need R for that if that's a globe proof, Mr. Sensible.
Right, Mitch, what exactly, again, do you think is happening? For that shadow to cast upwards, the sun has to be lower. That's absolutely required. Of course, the sun is physical. It is travelling. We're travelling around it in an orbit, so and rotating. So we see it rise and set. I mean, if you're saying it's just an apparent thing, apparently what? You said it's due to perspective. You're seeing what due to perspective? Depending where your view is, you showed the people on the beach. Yes, they'll each see a bright reflection of the sun pointing towards them, because that's the light bouncing between the sun off the surface of the water and up into their eyes. Yeah, as you move around, reflections move. Shadows don't. Again, here's something you can try, Mitch, if you're that hard of understanding. Bang a stick into the ground so you can see a shadow of it. Now walk around so that shadow moves. It won't. You're a bleeding idiot. Right, at that point, let's have a look, because I don't know. Let's just see if there's any chats or questions or anything like that to read out. No, there isn't. That's fine. But so I need to say I can't really watch the chat. So if anyone's asking any questions in there, I mean, I can have a quick look, see if there's anything popped up. Can I hang on for a minute because Martin H needs a coffee? Oh, Rachie, you like the shadow rising up on that mountain? Yeah, please consider that, because I can't think of another explanation how the shadow can be going upwards like that, other than the fact that the light source is coming and skirting the earth, shining up. It's another slam dunk. Well, it's 5 slam dunks. Mitch is currently on a cherry pick quote mine count of 10 for 5 evidences. He's not doing too well. Right, I'm going to take a swig. And Rachie, Sean's right. It's absolute globe proof. I would posit that all of these are. But to say that there is a flat earth, you need to provide explanations for each and every one of these evidences. And not only that, explanations that all work together. None of them must contradict each other. Otherwise you've got a problem. Right. Come on then, Mitch. Do the next one. I better get back onto the right screen. Oh yes, number 6, if he hasn't finished off 5.
That works on a globe, can't work on a flat earth.
And by claiming that works on a globe, you first need the R value, Mr.
Ding.
Sensible. You know that thing that we're just about to absolutely smash again, because this is what proofs number this?
6, Mitch.
Number 6. The bottoms of ships and other objects gets cut off and hidden by the curve of the horizon.
Beautiful, love it. The
Good.
bottoms of ships gets cut off by the curve of the horizon. So how's that possible, Mr. Sensible?
I wonder, Mitch.
When we've got things like the Australian black swan, yeah, that absolutely debunks the notion that we have curvature in between us observer and whatever's out over the water. This is the Australian black swan. Let me introduce you if you haven't seen it. This is from 7.8 miles away. Those rocks there, that's just a demarcation point. And if we zoom in a bit more and enhance the image, we can clearly see that, yeah, there's a bit of mirroring.
Yeah.
There's the bottom of the rocks. They're at 7.8 miles. And look what's in the distance. The horizon, far above that level.
Yep, apparent horizon
Yeah?
is, yeah.
Just to make it really clear, there's the horizon far above the level of the rocks, far past 7.8 miles. And if you had spherical earth curve geometry to block the bottom of that ship that you just saw, there's a distance to that spherical physical earth curve geometry that you need. It can be measured. It can be calculated. 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, Mr. Sensible. This is from a 5.5 foot observer height, 7.8 miles to those rocks. This is just being nice to you guys. The horizon can be no further than 2.8 miles.
You have slightly misworded that, Mitch, but I'll let you carry on.
The physical earth curvature to block things.
Yes, the physical. That 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet is to the geometric horizon. The physical geometric curve, not necessarily the distance you can see, which is going to be affected, Mitch, by refraction.
Why can we see those rocks, the bottom of those rocks touching the water there, and the horizon far in the distance?
Well, as I said, you can see around the curve, around that geometric curve, due to refraction. I did a horizon refraction experiment, Mitch, where I showed a netball, and you could see I'd marked the distance to the geometric horizon. I put a lens in front. Suddenly you could see around it. The light was bent and refracted, so you could see beyond that physical geometric curve, which is exactly what's happening here. Your geometric horizon is somewhere in front of that. So, yeah, you can't see it, as AB Science said, because there's no way to determine exactly where it is by eye, but it's there, and your eyes are seeing it. It's still there. It doesn't go away. What changes is how far around the curve you can see. So what exactly is hiding the bottom of that ship, Mitch? You've just said that you can't see, or shouldn't be able to see further than this. You have that ship. The entire hull is disappeared, yet you can see those thin masts. You can even, on a good quality version of that image, see some of the rigging. So it's not perspective, because rope is rather thin, a lot thinner than a hull. And if you get your P900 or your P1000, the Flat Earther's camera of choice, and zoom it into the max, you'll see a lot more details. Maybe you'll see paint markings on the side of the hull, or portholes, or some, well, actually, you're not seeing the hull, are you? But you know what I mean. See more details on the mast. Maybe you'll see someone climbed up in the crow's nest and he's waving to you. But what you won't see is that hull, which is already hidden behind the curve. So I think I've covered that. And so, oh yes, I didn't say that the physical horizon doesn't exist. I didn't say that, Mitch. And yeah, explain then what is happening to that hull. You've not explained how that is what is occurring in that image. You're just saying, oh look, I can see further than the geometric curve. Yeah, you can. Nobody is denying that, Mitch.
That's pretty awkward, Mr. Sensible. What?
Well, I know, but I thought I'd give you a chance.
We're 6 through now, and you just keep using the same old physical geometric horizon, the thing that you say does not exist.
Ding. And Mitch, of course I'm going to use examples which are talking about globes and spheres, because the idea is to show that the Earth is a sphere. You fetid pile of dingo's kidneys.
Must be pretty embarrassing at this point. Let's keep
No
going.
amount of zoom with a P1000 is ever going to bring the hull of that boat back. It works on a globe Earth.
Yeah, you can actually see the cross mast. Oh yeah, my mouse. You can just see the cross mast on that mast. So let's say it's a really thick beam. Let's say it's 2 foot thick. I'm sure it isn't. 2 foot thick. So the hull, Mitch, where the hell has that gone? Something is in the way. You cannot say it's just compression or perspective, or that horizontal beam would also have been been compressed out of visual view due to the Rayleigh criterion a long time ago, long before the great big hull.
There is no explanation on a flat Earth.
Yeah, it's all optical, as everybody claims now.
That's a bit of a... Oh yeah, it's all optical. There you go. Sorted. Why can't I see that while it's optical? Oh, I could see as far as this. Yeah, but that's just optical. That is such a hand wave, Mitch. No explanation at all. And you certainly haven't debunked this.
We don't have a physical Earth curve horizon. It
You seem to have got one there, Mitchell.
doesn't work on a globe because the
It appears to work on a globe, Mitchell.
globe needs physical Earth curve geometry. Yeah? We don't have that. Black Swan. It's a bitch, isn't it? And you're going to need half of that.
Oh, God. Ding.
Number 7, satellite TV dishes, each of which point to fixed points in the sky, which are the locations of the broadcast satellites in geosynchronous orbits.
Geostationary.
Awesome.
My
So
bad.
we've got a claim of orbits. Are you going to prove that we have orbits in the first place, Mr. Sensible?
Are you actually going to deny that there are orbits, Mitchell? Are you? Am I really going to have to go there, Mitchell?
Because that is a begging the question fallacy. Orbits
I think you've been listening to too much Mr. Oakley.
have never been witnessed. Orbits have never been proven.
What?
So it's a bit weird that you're going to claim orbits, but let's see a video.
Well, before we do, I think we better address this whole thing with orbits. What the hell do you think the moon does every month? We know, and we got its calculated orbit. We can predict exactly where it is. We orbit the sun. But you actually want to see some orbits. Well, you know, that let's call this up. This is NASA's Juno mission showing the moons of Jupiter. This is I can never remember the name of it. It's stacked images basically. Time lapse of those moons orbiting Jupiter, and you can see as they pass to the extremis on the left, they wink out as they go into Jupiter's shadow. There you go, Mitch. There are 4 moons orbiting Jupiter. You can see those with a pair of binoculars. Have a look a few hours later or a day or two later and you'll see the pattern of them have changed. You need to explain that, Mitch, because those moons move in a perfectly predictable pattern. That pattern is an orbit. Honestly, Mitch. I mean, even Galileo was aware of that. And I can't even think what year that was. 1610. 1610 Galileo discovered that. So you're only 400 and however many years off, aren't you? Good grief.
This is the Google Loon project. Yeah, so we've got balloons taken off with, what's that? Oh, is that a satellite?
No, Mitch, it's not a satellite. It even says on there it's alphabet's Loon balloon. If it was a satellite that they were claiming, they would say it's a satellite. It's not. It's a Satelloon.
It's just set a world record, 312 days for that balloon to be up in the air with a satellite on it.
Well, you might have to explain the ISS then. That's been up, what was it, 20 years or whatever?
Yeah? Is that orbiting something? No, it's just floating above our Earth.
It says there, Loon refers to high altitude balloons.
High altitude balloons designed to provide internet to remote areas. That's what Loon refers to. Yeah? They inflate to the size of small aircraft. Pretty interesting, isn't it, if you didn't know this, that there are balloons with satellites on them?
No, they're not satellites, Mitch. A satellite is something in orbit of another thing. Those are balloons. They're drifting around at the whim of the air currents. They are not in orbit. Therefore, those are not satellites. Those are instrument packages. No more, no less.
You got antenna, solar panels, electronics, all that stuff up in the air above our heads. You're about to see a little... Oh, look. Whoop, oh, oh. That looks pretty curved to me.
That said it flies 20 kilometres. Mage went up to 38. So therefore, you can kindly tell everyone how I launched a satellite. Idiot.
Mate, nah. Pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, Mr. Sensible. And if you assert that you have something orbiting something, like a satellite orbiting a globe, not only you have to prove orbits, you have to prove that if you have a globe, you have a radius value. Yeah, you're going to need R for that, aren't you, Mr. Sensible?
Ding.
You can't have a geosynchronous orbit above a flat Earth.
Yeah, I did misspeak. That's geostationary I was talking about. Mitch, you need to learn the difference between what a Satelloon is and a satellite. Satelloons, balloons, do not orbit. Simple as. And they said there the record was 312 days. Satellites, you think of TV satellites, have been up there for years. You have literally no idea, and you are embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing all Australians. Australians are fine people. Unfortunately, there's at least one steaming idiot amongst them. Isn't there, Mitch?
You're right, we can't have a geosynchronous orbit above flat Earth or a globe Earth because orbits don't exist, Mr. Sensible. You first have to provide us evidence that orbits actually exist.
Well, I just showed you the moons of Jupiter orbiting. All you need is a pair of binoculars, Mitch. Go out and look. I know that you can see them with binoculars because I've done it. I bet you haven't.
Number 8, satellite TV dishes again. When you're near the equator, they point nearly upright. The direction they point depends on your latitude around a sphere.
Oh, yeah? So just because you're repeating an evidence doesn't make it two evidences.
It's not a repeated evidence, Mitch. It's different. Do you not actually listen to what I'm saying? In the first one, the evidence was that dishes are pointed at fixed positions in the sky. So for a start, your Saturn wouldn't fulfill that because it would move out the way in a few minutes or a couple of hours or whatever. They'll stay in that exact position for years and years and years and years and years. My second evidence is due to the fact that, as opposed to dishes here in Northern Europe, which are pointing down at sort of or an angle of say 40 degrees above the horizon or whatever they are, at the equator, they're pointing vertical at the same satellites. The only reason that works is because we're on a sphere.
But I've still got further video of this. There's a little satellite, and we're going to see a satellite pointing straight up because the balloon was straight up above their head. So that's one just pointing out into the distance.
Did you see that dish was rotating, Mitch? It was having to rotate because the balloon was moving. So you're going to have to do something about every satellite TV dish. What are you going to do? Tilt it while you're watching a program? Donkey.
And look at that one. Hey, look, it's pointing straight up. Where's the balloon? Straight above their head, and they're picking it up. Yeah?
Well, actually, I think he was just putting it all together then, but the same thing holds. If it was straight overhead as at that point, a few minutes later, it will have moved. They can go at quite a speed, you know, Mitch. They don't stay at one fixed position in the sky.
Don't need a geostationary orbit above our head, do we? No, we just need this balloon. That's all we need with the satellite on it. That's how it works.
That's not how it works. You ask any satellite TV company, they'll tell you that you're an idiot.
Not making this shit up. This is actual references. This is citations, Mr. Sensible.
That's not a citation. It's Saturloons, Mitch. It's not the same thing.
Don't need a globe for this stuff. But if you are claiming a globe, there's one thing you do need. The R value, the radius value, that you've thoroughly debunked. Alright, where are we up to?
Sorry about that. I left the Jupiter thing up. All he was showing was his Saturloons. I'll just take it back for a second or two just so you can see
Number
them.
9, Polaris.
Go back.
The angle of Polaris above the horizon
won't let me
drops
go
by
back.
1 degree for every 69 miles you travel southwards. This conforms to the shape of a sphere and doesn't work on a flat Earth.
That's right, Mitch. It doesn't work on a flat Earth. It works absolutely perfectly on a globe.
Oh, really, Mr. Sensible? So for every 1 degree that you move,
Yep.
you're going to be moving a distance of 69 miles. 1 degree every 69 miles.
If you're moving in a north-south direction, yes, Mitch.
I've got news for you, mate. That's a linear relationship. Yeah? If you are on a globe with spherical geometry, you'd be traversing a curve.
Yes, you'd be traversing a curve, Mitch.
And anything you see in the sky won't be moving linearly up or down. It will be moving as a squared relationship, because remember we've got 8 inches per mile squared that we're moving across.
You do realise, Mitch, that the light from Polaris, the rays from Polaris are coming in parallel, don't you, Mitch? You do realise that?
Yeah? You forgot to account for that, didn't you?
No, Mitch.
In your Earth curve maths. It has to be a squared relationship. We see, Polaris. Every 1 degree difference we measure is 69 miles. That's a linear measurement.
Right, so that's a claim, Mitch. You're saying on a flat Earth, you move 69 miles away from the pole, or for each 69 miles, that Polaris will drop in the sky. It will be 1 degree lower for every 69 miles. Right, that is a claim, Mitch. I'm going to give you a challenge where you can earn some money, Mitch. My challenge is this, and this is what, Sean Hawkins, if you're still in here, I realised afterwards you've basically given the same sort of challenge. Mitch, nice simple challenge. Draw a flat line for your flat Earth. Draw a star, any height above that flat line that you want, and then drop lines from that star to the Earth, so that when you're directly underneath it, you're looking up at 90 degrees. Move on so that you're 10 degrees. So rather than 1 degree, 69 miles, 10 degrees, 690. Call the different distance between them X. Move on with another 10 degrees from the star, and another, all the way to 0 degrees. Okay? The different distances between each of those points where the light hits the Earth on a flat Earth, what you're claiming, will be the same. It won't. It absolutely will not. That is simple geometry, Mitch. Every degree, or every 10 degrees from that star is making a greater and greater distance on the Earth. So that is simple. All you've got to do, Mitch, is just, you can either use something like AutoCAD or something like that, a graphics package that will show the angles. You can quite validly do it on a piece of paper, draw it out with a protractor. So I want to see lines at 90, 80, 70, 60 degrees, from the ground, so it's dropping a star to those angles, and show me that the distances between each of those points where it hits the ground is identical. And I will PayPal you £100. No catch. You don't have to come on stream. This isn't a bet. If you can't do it, or you do it but you fail, you're not losing anything. It's a simple challenge for £100, Mitch. And I know at the end of your stream you said you're unemployed and you're earning money from this. So I'd like to help. You said that it's a linear relationship. Well, there's your line. Draw it, and I will send you £100 straight away. No questions asked. And I will admit on my channel a short one-off video to say Mitch met this challenge. He's correct. Can you do it, Mitch? Can you, I was going to say, put your money where your mouth is. You don't even have to put any money there. I'm putting the money there. All you got to do is grab it. Should be easy, mate. I know Sean Hawkins has offered something similar. I'm not sure of the exact details of his. I'm presuming it's pretty much the same thing, because it's so blinking obvious to anyone who's aged 13 and done a little bit of geometry that it won't work. But you're happily posting on the internet to the world that this could work. That's embarrassing, Mitch. Really embarrassing. But hey, show me wrong. Show me wrong. Just do the diagram, take a photo of it with your camera, with your iPhone or whatever you got, and email it to me. Okay, as long as the detail's good enough so it can physically see. If you can do that, because it'll be easy to see the difference between 90 to 80 to say between 30 to 20 or 20 to 10, I'm predicting will be massively different. You're predicting they'll be exactly the same, because you're saying for every 1 degree or every 10 degrees, you would traverse 690 miles. I'm telling you that doesn't work on a flat Earth. I'm telling you that I think you're an idiot, but please try and prove me wrong. Okay, we'll do the next one and then we'll stop for a little break again.
Once again, you have a curved surface beneath your feet that you're claiming. And you're gonna need R for that, Mr. Sensible.
Ding.
Number 10, radar. There is such a thing as a radar horizon. Because of the shape of the Earth, objects that are below that line cannot be seen by the radar. Number 11.
Oh, okay, number
10, Mitch.
Number 10. So we've got a radar horizon, do we, Mr. Sensible?
Yes, we do, Mitch.
You gave us a little diagram with,
yes, I did,
with a curve there, just like I just showed before with curve Earth, yeah. It's a little bit of a problem because...
Is it?
You would have disproved, at best, you would have disproved the radius of the Earth.
It's not...
Ding. Mitch, why is it you don't play that whole quote? But yeah, radar horizon. Why is it that radar can't see that aircraft on that diagram if the ground is flat? You haven't given an explanation yet. Perhaps you will. Tell us why.
Well, it's never going to get old, Mr. Sensible. It's never going to get old. If you have a curved Earth, if you have a spherical Earth, you need a radius.
Ding.
And what happened to your radius when you were shown the black swan?
At best, you would have disproved
Ding.
the radius of the Earth.
Ah, that is just so awkward. Let's see what other people are saying about the radius of the Earth.
I'm claiming what every single glober here claims. The Earth curvature is not the horizon.
That's pretty awkward, Mr. Sensible. So
it?
if you have a radar horizon, yeah, what's blocking it? It's certainly not physical Earth curve.
Then you have to provide an explanation, Mitch. That radar horizon, for a given height of a radar, is a calculated distance, allowing for mountains and so on, that matches the curve of the Earth. So if it isn't the Earth, Mitch, that's blocking it, and it must be something physical, it has to be something physical, then what is it, Mitch? You haven't explained yet, have you?
Because of the shape of the Earth, objects that are below that line cannot be seen by the radar. Number 11. Right, well, before we go to number 11, then, let's take a little break. This stupid is really getting to me. Honestly, Mitch, it really is fail. I'm trying to be as polite as possible. You have failed totally on every single one of those, Mitch. So let's have a look, see what we got here. Any super? Oh, we have got a few super chats. Thank you. Second best, Bob, £5. Something for you to read, Mr. Sensible. It's my eyes. I've got this problem with my eyes, and it's not the biggest thing on the screen anyway. I think it's a little emoji with the hearts on the face. Well, thank you very much, Bob. Thanks, Bob. And I truly mean that one, Bob. I appreciate it. And K-Bear, a new name. Thank you, K-Bear, for $5 US. Did you actually sit through one of his lessons? Have a drink on me. Well, not one of his lessons, K-Bear, but this was basically aimed at me because I had provided 30 evidences to claim my free 3 Bitcoins, and he responded with this. Apparently and allegedly debunking each and every one. So I thought it was only polite to show him that he's an idiot 30 times. Andreas Elt, super chatted 50 Swedish krona. Thank you, Andreas. What does he mean? You need an R for that. He sees the mountain casting a shadow up towards the cloud. He says it's impossible without an R. Yeah, exactly, Andreas. Okay. We know what R is. But even if we got wrong R wildly wrong, there's still something casting a shadow upwards. There's still a point looking out to sea that objects disappear behind that you cannot bring back no matter how strong your scope is. It's such an idiot argument, which is why he's getting all these dings. And then, of course, by not only using an idiot argument, but using a misquote of something that he had failed at. And Sofa King Sleepy, I like that name, Sofa King Sleepy, super chat $2, 69 miles. What do you get? 1 degree older and deeper in debt. Oh gosh, what's his name? Oh man, I know that song. Oh, I'll have a think on that. I do know the song you mean. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Do 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 do. Where did that come from? Wow. Thank you for that little break. That was pleasant, because honestly, he's burning me up. He really is. But we got to press on. Press on, no less. Come on then, Mitchell. Flick back to my notes. So we've just done number 10. We're just going on to number 11. Oh, man, I haven't been showing his video again, have I? Ugh. So you didn't actually see it. It was just...
Gonna need R for that.
Height above the ground with regard to radar.
Oh, I can't
the
see
higher
that.
an object is, the further away it can be.
Stop it. I'm just going back a couple minutes.
And still be.
For some reason, the video doesn't want to track backwards. So I'll stop at this point. I'm saying, with this chart, the higher an aircraft is, the further away you can see it from with radar. So basically, in that previous example, if you had an aircraft that was just below the radar horizon, and let's say it was flying at 10,000 feet, if it rose to 15,000 feet, it may come into view of the radar. And here's a set of distances, 50, 100, 150 miles and so on. The altitude, the minimum altitude of an object that you can see, 1,500 feet, 6,500, 15,000 feet. The higher it goes, the further away you can see it from. That's also indicating a curve, Mitch.
Picked up by the radar because it's above the radar horizon.
So we're going to keep going with the radar thing, are we, Mr. Sensible?
Yeah.
Okay. We're just going to have to keep drumming it in to your
At
head.
best, you
Ding.
have disproved the radius of the Earth.
Come on, Mitch, you can do better than this. Make up shit about unicorns or something. At least something. All you're doing is cherry picking misquotes. It's not evidencing anything. It's not debunking me.
Yeah, at best we're going to
Ding.
have disproved the radius of the Earth. It's pretty awkward when we need the radius of the Earth because
And this is
This is the black swan, the original black swan that absolutely debunked the radius of the Earth, that gave us that awesome soundbite from you.
The #1 globe killer. Hopefully by now, all of you have seen this video by BMLSB69. His observer height is only 1 foot. Now that first platform is 6.2 miles away, and platform habitat is 9.4 miles away, with the horizon far in the distance beyond that. Now I'm going to let you just sit there and take this in, because this is the absolute #1 globe killer. Modus tollens states, if P, then Q, not Q, therefore not P.
Listen carefully.
If P, we live on a globe of radius 3959 miles, then Q, every horizon distance measurement cannot be more than...
Did you see here he stumbled? He said every horizon distance measurement.
1.23 miles times the square root of the observer height in feet. Not Q, the...
Now look at that image at the bottom, at the very bottom line. Well, it says observer height 5 foot, actual 1 foot, maximum distance geometric horizon. Geometric horizon. You didn't mention that in your modus tollens, did you, Mitch? It's malformed. If P, we live on a globe, radius 3959 miles, then Q, every geometric horizon distance measurement cannot be. So, yeah, that would be the geometric. Optical is different.
Geometric horizon is far greater than 2.73 miles for 5 foot. Therefore, not P. The Earth is not a globe.
There it is, Mr.
But
Sensible.
this valid logical...
Yeah, a total twisting of modus tollens, stumbling to try and hide the word geometric and getting your arse handed to you.
conclusion is hand-waved by the globe zealots as word salad. So I'll put this devastating picture in simpler terms. Globe believers must have a physical leading edge, the geographical edge to...
Yes, geographical edge, Mitch.
...their sphere, in order for boats to go over it.
Actually, I mean geometric, actually, but it's not the optical. So you've got a geometric edge.
And for land and water to curve around it. It's a fundamental pillar to their religion. If the globe they presuppose has a radius of 3959 miles, then the horizon distance is set by the height of the observer. So what makes this image so devastating is the height of the observer at only 1 foot. The horizon should be 1.22 miles.
Geometric.
But even if we set it at 5 feet, the horizon should be 2.73 miles. But we can see the bottom of platform habitat where it meets the water 9.41 miles away, and the horizon above that beyond in the distance.
Yes, and I have proven in one of my videos, that refraction video, that you can see around a curve with a lens this side of the curve.
Making it fundamentally impossible to see this from 1 foot on a globe. The globe does not exist.
And what was the rebuttal to that?
You would have disproved the radius of the Earth.
Ding. And that was not a rebuttal, Mitch. That was a cherry-picked misquote, as you well know. But by all means, go on doing it, because I love pointing out how you cheat. And then I often show another quote of yours, don't I, Mitch? A lovely quote. I'm not going to use that yet, Mitch. I'll show that a bit later on.
That was Mr. Sensible's rebuttal when I showed him the black swan. And he confirmed his understanding by confirming...
At best, you would have disproved the radius of the Earth.
Yeah.
Ding. And if you played the first part of that quote as well, Mitch, it says, if everything that you said was correct, but it wasn't, Mitch. It wasn't correct.
Yeah, it's pretty awkward when you're claiming something like a radar horizon, like a physical Earth curve.
There is a radar horizon, Mitch. So you explain what it is then. If it's not curved, go ahead. Make my day, punk.
Yeah, you've disproved the radius of the
Ding.
Earth, Mr. Sensible.
So we don't see it. So it's not a horizon.
You are correct. We do not observe geometric horizon.
Yeah, we don't observe. We don't physically see it. We don't physically see it because of refraction.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Oh, bog off, Nathan.
Welcome to Flat Earth, Mr. Sensible. We do not have a geometric horizon.
Of Of course we do. If we don't have a geometric horizon, you're saying that the object isn't there. It's an object. You're standing on it. It's physical geometry. Well, you're saying it's a plane, in which case we shouldn't get a horizon of any sort, should we, Mitch? We should just, on a clear day, still get it going fuzzy at the vanishing point. Only we don't. Sometimes we get nice, crisp images like that boat that's disappearing around a curve.
Is every single one of your proofs going to be built based on the
globe, Mitch?
Geometric horizon? Yeah, if you're claiming a globe, you're going to need half of that, mate.
Oh, we nearly forgot. Ding.
All right, where are we up to? What number was that?
You're on 25
Let's
dings.
Keep going.
The AWACS early warning system. It's radar mounted on an aircraft so that it can see objects further away because it has a view, in effect, around the curve. You wouldn't need that on a flat Earth, as the radar would be virtually limitless.
All right. Do I need to go into it further?
Well, I'd like you to go into it at all, let alone further, Mitch. You've not provided any evidence.
Or maybe I'm sick of saying we need R for that. Let's let someone else say it.
Ding.
You're gonna need R for that.
Ding.
Thanks, DRTRH.
Yeah, where's my bloody bitcoins?
Just seeing you in the chat there, mate. I'll just repeat that for you, Mr. Sensible.
You're gonna need R for that.
Ding.
Yep, you're gonna need R for that.
Ding.
And what have you said about R, Mr. Sensible? The thing that
Christ
never gets
loud.
old.
At best,
Ding.
you would have disproved the radius of the Earth.
Ah, this is just painful, isn't it?
Isn't it just? We're on number 12, Mitch, and you've already got 30 dings for cherry-picking misquotes.
I hope he's sitting through this, just wincing.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, I was sitting through it wincing with embarrassment at your stupidity.
Just going, oh, you're misquoting me. Nah.
Yes, Mitch, because, how should I put it? You're bloody misquoting me, you drongo.
That's what you said, Mr. Sensible.
Yeah. Do you not know what a cherry pick is, Mitch? It's part of a quote. And not only that, a part of a quote that's snipped out in order to change the meaning of the entire quote. It's dishonest. It's as good as lying, Mitch.
Let's keep going. You still got 18 or 19 more of these.
Number 13, P waves and S waves. They can be picked up from earthquakes on the other side.
Oh, and just going back to the AWACS, I just realised you gave no reason why the military employ AWACS. Why would they bother to mount radar and shove it up in an aircraft at height, if not to be able to see further? So yeah, you sidestepped that question. In fact, you sidestepped it so nicely that I even forgot that I had a note saying that you'd sidestepped it. Yeah. Sorry, the P waves and S waves. So we got an earthquake or something at the top of that diagram with the P waves and S waves emanating outwards.
Side of the Earth, and the time they take is based on a sphere.
Oh, yeah. So P waves and S waves, Mr. Sensible.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to explain. Isn't it coincidental that as they travel outwards, they appear time-wise, appearing at later times, that equates to a globe?
What was that, number 13? Yeah. Let's
Yes.
see how good the P waves and S waves actually are. This is from, let's see. This is a citation from
Get ready for stupid.
ZME Science. Drilling to the mantle, 6 unexpected discoveries from the world's deepest well. So, in 1970 was the world record for how far we drilled down. And they made some predictions, yeah? So let's see what their predictions were and how close they were using P waves and S waves. Number one, there's a lot of water down there, yeah? Hot mineralized water was found almost everywhere along the drilling path. Everyone
Cool.
figured that granite would be dry as stone. So much water down there.
Right.
Something about the drill moving around, earth gas, unexpectedly, right here, unexpectedly, helium, hydrogen, nitrogen, and even carbon dioxide from microbes
And that's got to do with the shape of the Earth. How?
were found along the borehole. Did P waves and S waves pick up that, Mr.
What?
Sensible? They couldn't even pick up things at a maximum of, what, was it 12 kilometers? 8 miles? Something like that? Let alone the entire radius of your 39, 59 mile Earth that you say has been debunked.
Oh, ding.
What else is there? There's no basalt under the continent's granite. This was a huge surprise. Another one, a huge surprise. So P waves and S waves couldn't pick that up, Mr. Sensible?
No.
No?
No.
There are fossils at 6,700 meters below the surface. How'd that happen? The P waves and S waves didn't pick that up, did it, Mr.
No,
Sensible?
Mitch.
No?
No.
So keep claiming your P waves and S waves.
P waves and S waves are a thing. It's not bloody ultrasound, Mitch. I think there was mention in there of microbes. They discovered microbes. You get an earthquake. You think that they're going to get a shadow of the signals that travel right through the earth and the crust of where some microbes are. You have absolutely no idea. I mean, P waves and S waves travel through the earth, and we got the different layers like the mantle and the outer core and whatever, and as it travels it actually refracts on change of density, so we get shadow regions and so on. So that's how we image. We can image, if you like, and calculate the size of the bloody iron core, not a couple of fossils that are an inch or two across. You literally have no idea, Mitch. You literally are an idiot.
Because you're going to need half of that,
Oh,
Mr.
ding.
Sensible. DITRH, how are you, mate? Good to see you in here.
Yeah, don't drop dead, will you, DITRH? Not before you give me my bitcoins, anyway.
Thanks for coming on the show last Friday and forcing Mr. Sensible to give us these flat earth proofs. Do you reckon he's going to get any Bitcoin from you?
Not a cat in hell's chance, because there's never any chance of anyone getting it, because he happens to be the judge and jury as well, and the last thing he's going to want to do is pay $150,000 or whatever the hell they're worth now. So no matter what anyone presents, he's going to say, nuh-uh.
No.
Put it in escrow and have an independent judge. Then I'll buy your app. Then I'll watch the videos. Then I'll provide you with an evidence. And you can give me that money. But you won't.
I don't think so.
No.
Let's power through it, because I don't think this one's even an earthquake claim.
Number 14, the explosion of Krakatoa. In 1883, when Krakatoa exploded, the sound wave travelled around the world 4 times. So cities actually heard the explosion 7 times.
Oh, that's it. So there's no earth claim there, whether it be flat or spherical? No, that's not even an earth curve claim.
Yes, Mitch, it is. Are you too dumb to understand the evidence? We had Krakatoa exploding. The sound and pressure wave expands away from it in a circular, in all directions, outwards in a circle. That circle gets bigger as it goes all the way around the world, crosses, and comes back again. If Earth was flat, the sound waves would go up and never come back, apart from echoes from perhaps mountains or whatever. But the sound wave would basically disappear. It travelled round the Earth 4 times. Absolutely, it's proof of a globe, Mitch. Absolutely cannot be explained with a flat Earth, and absolutely you do not even understand what that evidence is saying. Yeah, let's move on, Mitch. Embarrass yourself again. Number 15.
Let's keep going.
15, Bob Nadell.
What we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift. A 15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks, Bob.
Oh, okay. So yeah, 15 degree per hour drift. And thanks, Bob. Is that meant to be some sort of a Earth
Thank you for providing proof that the Earth is rotating.
Curve claim? What does Simon and Dan have to say about that?
Again.
You and your reference frames have been ruined.
Yeah, because if you claim that you have something like a gyroscope that is picking up drift, why are we picking up drift? Is it the Earth turning beneath the gyroscope?
No, it is not the Earth turning beneath the gyroscope, Mitch.
Yeah, so we've got 2 reference frames, the inertial reference frame that the gyroscope's in, and the rotating reference frame that the Earth's on.
What, are you saying that Bob Nadell holding his gyroscope was in an inertial reference frame? You are too stupid for me even to tell you how stupid you are, Mitch.
So we've got 2 reference frames, do we,
No.
Mr. Sensible?
You and your reference frames have been ruined.
And that's directly at you, Mr. Sensible, not at us flat earthers. You and your reference frames have been ruined.
No, Mitch, he's talking about you. You guys just get nothing. That gyroscope of Bob's was not Earth turning beneath the gyroscope. I mean, Netflix sort of said something about drift, detecting a drift. It's not detecting a drift. You could pour some super glue on the floor, stick your gyroscope to it, nail it as well, and sit your hairy butt on it, Mitch. Okay? Look at it an hour later, and you'll see that it's recording a movement of 15 degrees. It's not in a different reference frame. It's not an object that's scanning another object, Mitch. It's sealed. It's not taking readings of any signals or of anything outside. It's purely the rotation of that unit. So if I'm holding it here turning, I'll get readings. If I sit it on a desk, I'll get readings. And those readings will be 15 degrees per hour, Mitch. That's how it works. That's why Bob's evidence was so beautiful. That's why we all say, thanks, Bob. And you, Mitch, do not even understand what it is that he has shown. It's not in an inertial reference frame. It's still in the rotating reference frame of the Earth. If it wasn't in the rotating reference frame of the Earth, Mitch, it wouldn't pick up the rotation. That was number 15. I've got to take a break. I'm enjoying this, but I've got to take a break. Let's do a refresh, because I think I did see something come in. Let me just zoom it up. We got a super chat from Judy Bassett. Thank you, Judy, for €8 for some cherries and cheese. Thank you, Judy. Most kind as always. So what do you guys make of all this? I am going to have to watch this back so I can see all these comments. I can only imagine what it's like. I can't believe it. We're halfway through, so I'm going to have to speed up a little if I can. But honestly, all he's doing is keep regurgitating that same cherry-picked misquote, not understanding some evidences like the Krakatoa one. Never mind whether he agrees with it, disagrees with it, has evidence against it. He didn't bloody understand what the argument was, which is fine in itself. If he had said, actually, I don't even understand what you're saying, that would have been an honest position to make. But no, he just said it's not an argument. It's almost unbearable, Martin H. I do my deepest apologies, dear sir. I'm very sorry. But you see, I did feel that this has to be addressed. Right. And I've run out of Baileys, but I don't have another glass. I'm working tomorrow. And one glass. Oh, I can't have 2. I'll be anybody's. Come on then. Let's crack on with this. Back to my notes. Back to Mitchell. Come on then, Mitch. I'm sure you can pick it up in the second half. Show us what you got, pal.
Mr. Sensible. Not a globe Earth claim, is it?
Number 16, the Tropic of Capricorn. On a globe Earth, the tropics of both Cancer and Capricorn would have the same circumference. On a flat Earth, they can't possibly be. Number 17.
Oh, yeah. So,
come on, Mitch.
the Tropic of Capricorn, yeah? A circumference, you say?
Yeah.
And that is working or not working on a flat Earth? I'll just go back to that. So what are you comparing it to, Mr. Sensible? Are you trying to set up a false dichotomy where we're using some sort of a globe projection, the AE map, to compare to your globe Earth? And you're trying to say which one is more accurate?
No, Mitch. If you measure the Tropic of Cancer and you measure the length of the Tropic of Capricorn, they're the same. And both of those happen to be just a bit shorter than the equator, which is between. So unless you have another way of, in effect, stacking 3 circles concentrically with 2 equal ones, one of them being larger than the larger one, then flat Earth doesn't work. So if you're coming from the North Pole, you hit the Tropic of Cancer first in a circle. You then hit the equator, which is a circle that's a bit longer. You then hit the Tropic of Capricorn, which is smaller. See, it doesn't work on a flat Earth, Mitch. But if it's a sphere coming down from the North Pole, you'll reach the Tropic of Cancer. You'll carry on and reach the equator, which is the midpoint, the widest point. You then carry on south and you reach the Tropic of Capricorn, and the circle is smaller again. It's not hard to understand, Mitch, and it absolutely cannot be shown to work on a flat Earth.
And you want to come out on top with the globe, you're gonna need half of that, are you, Mr. Sensible? And you're gonna have to make me claim that we have some sort of a map to give you, some sort of a circular map that we can measure the distance of this Capricorn.
We can measure the distance of it. So all you got to do, and we can say where it crosses over, which parts of the world. We know the distance, Mitch, and it's the same as the length of the Tropic of Cancer. We have an explanation. You don't.
Capricorn. I'll just show you the beach. So the sun's about to come up. The sun is up somewhere over there, and it's all about the sun. The tropics are all about the sun. Capricorn and Cancer are just the extremities to where the sun's GP will move throughout the year.
Yes, Mitch. So you've and that's because of the tilt of the Earth. 23.45 degrees north, 23.45 degrees south of the equator. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're just arbitrary points.
Not arbitrary, Mitch.
Nothing to do with a globe.
Then you have to explain them. Why does the sun stop at the Tropic of Cancer? Why does it then reverse direction? Why does it then stop at the Tropic of Capricorn? Why does it then reverse direction? A tilt with an orbiting sphere explains it, Mitch, 100% perfectly. So you're going to have to explain every observation we make to come up with a better solution.
Definitely works on a flat Earth. It is just the GP point to where the sun is.
But since you're saying you don't have a map, how do you know?
Moving on.
They can't possibly be. Number 17, the ISS, as can be seen here, is a man-made object. Anybody can go out and see it as it travels in its...
And I'll just pause it there. Yeah, it's no doubt that's a man-made object. You can see the solar panels. It happens to match up with the... I mean, I don't know how old that image is, but the images of the ISS and lunar solar transits match up with the photographs of the ISS, including times when the space shuttle or whatever was docked.
Orbit. It's predicted, down to the second.
Orbits, you say, Mr. Sensible?
Yes, orbits, Mitch.
Orbits are fun, aren't they?
Yes, Mitch, they're fun.
So, you're going to prove those orbits? You're going to prove that that thing in the sky that we see, that we take pictures of, is orbiting us? Yeah, prove an orbit first, mate.
I have proven orbits, Mitch. Orbits are well known. Orbits can be calculated. You can go out and see ISS. All you've got to do is go on a website such as Heavens Above. Others are available. It will tell you exactly when the ISS is going to pass over your head, from what direction, at what height it will become visible, how long it will be visible, how bright it will be, and at what point and what time it will go into the shadow of the Earth. What's that? Just sort of lucky guess, is it maybe, Mitch? I don't know. Or perhaps it's because the orbit is calculated. They also used to show iridium flares from the iridium satellites. You could, if you were lucky, see one of those flare in daylight. All that was, it's not a case of watching a satellite as it tracks across, such as the ISS. It's just as the satellite was rotating, it would catch and reflect the sun's light, and they were so bright, you'd get a bright flash, an iridium flare. You could see them in the daytime. So absolutely, with some pretty nifty maths, you could tell where the flare reflection was going to be seen on the ground, down to the second. Yeah, orbits, Mitch, they're a thing.
And you're going to need half of that. If you think
ding.
It's going around a globe and it's globe proof, you're going to need half of that.
Oh, and by the way, you do realise that Geronism imaged both solar and lunar transits of the ISS. He got some beautiful images in which you could see the shape of the ISS, including all the solar panels. That was sweet. Of course, being a flat earther like yourself, he then denied what he had done with his own equipment.
Number 18. Photos and videos from the ISS. There is just no way you can fake all of that.
There is just no way you can fake all of that. Photos and videos from the ISS. Who remembers this guy? It's photos.
Was that you when you were a lot younger, Mitch? I don't know.
Shop, because it has to be. Yeah. And I've got another video. Just.
Have you seen this image? Chances are the answer is yes. It's the iconic blue marble image, the first photo of the whole Earth.
Photo, Mitch, 1972. A photo with a standard camera onto film, onto a negative. No Photoshop or whatever then, Mitch.
Was taken on December 7th, 1972.
Yeah, a bit too soon for Photoshop, I think.
By the American crew of the Apollo 17 mission. In the decades since Apollo 17, NASA has released a number of other blue marble images.
Images, Mitch, not photos, images.
But because we've never permanently positioned a spacecraft at the appropriate distance and with the appropriate equipment needed to take photos of the entire Earth, many of the images that we use to visualize the Earth are composites.
Composites, Mitch. Individual images stitched together, Mitch. And you're not going to use sticky tape to stitch them up. You use graphics software to match up the edges of those images, and then you touch up any imperfections in the joins. It's simple. It's the same as your phone does on a panoramic sweep. That panorama is still there.
That means they stitch together multiple images taken by satellites in order to create what only appears to be a seamless portrait of the planet as a whole. Composite imaging is an extremely valuable tool for helping us study the Earth. It also allows us to produce remarkable images like the black marble.
The black
which
marble
shows a global view of the city lights across our planet.
Oh, doesn't that look something like the ISS? There's no way you can fake this, can you?
Mitch, to make one of those images, it's taking months worth of satellite images, stitching them together, I presume pretty much automatically by computer, but someone will have to go there and touch up all the imperfections. Now, that is a number of static images, and perhaps they're then stacked into an animation. But that's not what we see from the ISS. We see 4K streaming footage. You can see cloud patterns in that footage that match what's on weather forecasts from satellites, that matches what you see if you go out from your little hut or whatever it is you live in and look at the sky. It's real. You cannot produce all that real time. If you've got a way, I suggest you get in touch with Pixar Animation and so on. They'll love you because you'll save them a shed load of money. A shed load, because they spend hours and hours and hours just to do a few frames, and they run the rendering overnight. Yeah, so they're not going to produce this real time. No concept, Mitch.
You, Mr. Sensible. Photos and images from the ISS, something you claim that orbits above our heads without proving orbits, without proving that that thing is actually up there. Is that impossible to fake?
Yeah.
Well, we've just been detailed that that's exactly what they do. They stitch together images to make videos, to make you fools think that there's something up there.
No, Mitch, if you have stitched together lots of satellite images to make, in effect, a static globe, that's in a computer. It's data in a computer. Then you can rotate around it as though you're flying. That's simple. Well, the idea is simple, but then so are you.
Until now, though, we haven't had the capacity to take snapshots of the entire Earth on a regular basis. That's where the deep...
Yeah, you can absolutely fake it. And if you think that it's taking photos of a globe Earth up there, you're going to need half of that, aren't you?
Ding. No. And he just said you're taking photos, images of small portions of the Earth and stitching them together. Do you not even listen to what the man in your evidence says, Mitch?
You, Mr. Sensible.
Number 19, Mr. Sensible's
I like that one, Mitch. That one's a really good one. Top bloke, that Mr. S.
Age project. You can see the curve.
Yeah, I can. And everyone else can, Mitch. Can't you?
I like this one. I like this one a lot.
Good.
Mr. Sensible's Mage project. You can see the curve. How high did you go, Mr. Sensible, about?
Well, look, I'll just pause you a second. You can see a curve on your own flipping iPad or whatever it is. You can see the curve. If you're saying that is not Earth curvature, then I'm going to issue you challenge number 2, Mitch, which is to do a debunk video on Mage and get your ass whooped once again, because that horizon is across the centre of the lens where you don't get barrel distortion. Those two strings are spring-loaded strings, so they're straight. They have a minuscule amount of distortion. So how could a straight horizon have more distortion than the strings when it's in a less distorting area? Come back to me on that, Mitch, because until you can, you got nothing.
30 kilometres? Yeah.
38.75,
cool.
Mitch.
Yeah, 30 kilometres.
38.75.
Let's hear from your high priest.
For context. So I see it not as, oh, we're going.
And this is Neil deGrasse Tyson.
God bless his God bless his cotton socks. And we will listen very carefully to Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson in your evidence, Mitch. Okay, this is your evidence. Go ahead, High Priest.
Detailing something about Richard Branson's space tourism. Yeah, he went about, what, 56, 58 miles up? That's a bit more than your 30 kilometres, isn't it?
We want to hear from the High Priest, not from you.
Let's see if Neil deGrasse Tyson says we're going to see the curve of the Earth from that space tourism site height.
Going into space, no, you're getting a nice view of the Earth, and I don't even know if you're going to see the curvature.
I'll pause there. I don't even know if you're going to see the curvature. That's what Neil said. I don't even know if you're going to see the curvature.
I did some calculations, and I'm thinking they're not.
He did some calculations, and he thinks that you're not going to. But he said, I don't even know. I did some calculations, and I don't think you are. He hasn't been up there. He can be wrong. He's done some calculations. That will give him an amount of curvature, and he believes that you won't be able to see that with your eyeballs. Okay. That's not saying there's no curve, Mitch. He didn't say it's flat, did he? But go on.
Oh no, Mr. Sensible, from 50-something miles up. What did Neil deGrasse Tyson just say?
Some calculations, and I'm thinking they're not.
So you cut off the first bit, which was, I don't know if you will see curvature. I did some calculations. I'm thinking you're not. So that's not evidence against it, Mitch, because someone else went up about 200 metres higher than I did with Mage. What did he have to say?
When I step off, but then I could see the curvature of the Earth. You know, the sky was totally black, and I was so overwhelmed by when I step off. But then I could see the curvature of the Earth. You know, I could see the curvature of the Earth. You know, I could see the curvature of the Earth. You know.
Yeah, Mr. Felix Baumgartner, the man who went up there, he could see curvature. So you're quoting Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, a very eminent science communicator, a very, very clever man who doesn't think you're going to see curvature up there, but he's done calculations and he thinks you're not, versus a man who has been up there and says he can see it. Yeah.
And I don't even know if you're going to see the curvature. I did some calculations, and I'm thinking they're not.
He did some calculations, and he's thinking you're not going to see the curvature of the Earth, Mr. Sensible. That's from Richard Branson's space tourism flights, 50-something miles above the Earth. How high was your...
38 3/4,
Get it back
Mitch.
up. How high was this again, Mr.
You should
Sensible?
know by now.
That you said you could see...
It's on the bloody screen.
The curve of the Earth. Why? Is it you that's lying, or is it Neil deGrasse Tyson that's lying?
Whoa. Whoa there. Is it me or Neil that's lying? What's a lie, Mitch? A lie is an intentionally false statement. Okay? So we got Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who has said, I don't think you can see curve. I've done a calculation and I'm thinking you're not. So he's not making a firm statement. He's not lying. It's his honestly held belief based on his calculations. And that's absolutely fine. I sent up Mage and we took video imagery. You can see that there is apparently curvature in there. So saying I can see curvature is not dishonest. It is not intentionally, not an intentionally false statement. If it's in error, though, you need to explain why it looks curved. Mitch, I'm sorry. Once again, nothing but fail.
Huh? Who's lying here? Someone's lying. Someone's saying...
Well, since you're the 35 times cherry-picked misquoter, I would hazard a guess, Mitch, and say that you are apparently a person who lies.
Something that is not true. Yeah? You can't see the curve of the Earth from that height. And if you do see the curve of the Earth, you're going to need half of that, Mr. Sensible.
Call
and
that
at
36.
Best, all we've done is debunk the radius of
37.
Number 19, Mr. Sensible's Mage Project.
Heard it. Yep, let's see next.
Mage Project.
Heard it, haven't been able to debunk it.
You can see the curve.
It's all right, we'll see it again.
Number 20, Stellar Parallax. There would not be such a thing as stellar parallax unless the Earth was a globe orbiting the Sun.
Now, apart from affirming the consequent, if we see parallax, then we're orbiting the Sun. Yeah? No. Just...
Well, Mitch, they take images of a star 6 months apart on each side of the orbit of the Sun. The reason it's 6 months apart is to get the largest baseline they can get. The distance between your two views, your two eyes, the old finger thing, to get the parallax. So yeah, it depends on us orbiting the Sun. And if I show you this, this is two views of the same star from the New Horizons probe and from Earth. The New Horizons probe is out beyond Pluto. You can see at the top of the screen that star jumping from position to position. That's its parallax. Because we're viewing it from two different directions, it appears to move, just like your finger does when you blink your eyes, it appears to move against the background. That's parallax. In this case, it's not relying on the orbit of the Earth, but your ordinary stellar parallax that astronomers use is absolutely based on the orbit of the Earth, taken 6 months apart to get the maximum distance baseline.
Doesn't happen.
Of course it happens.
Need to prove orbits. You need
proved orbits.
To prove that we have parallax in the first instance.
I just shown parallax. In that case, well, I've shown parallax on a star using the New Horizons probe. What are you going to show, Mitch? Let me guess.
This is from BMLSB 69 of the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune. Those little lights in the sky. I don't know if you guys can see them. Right there. So those lights in the sky. Any parallax from those little lights in the sky? Nope. They're definitely different distances on your heliocentric model. We should definitely see parallax.
You're saying over the... I'm not sure if that's a time-lapse or moving drone or something. You think you're going to see, whoever it was, Jupiter and Saturn, parallax against the background stars in a few minutes or even a few hours? Do you really? Do you have any idea? No, you have no idea of the scale of things. No idea at all. They are so close to us in stellar distances, but the rotation within a night, that's still within a night, is minuscule. Absolutely minuscule. It's like having your two eyes basically totally overlapped. You're going to get one monocular view. You're not going to see parallax. Scale matters. And as I already said, for stars, we wait 6 months for the Earth to move halfway around its orbit to give us enough parallax, enough distance to see parallax in stars. Well, I'll let you finish off this because it's number 20, another break.
Throughout the night, on your heliocentric model, they stay exactly the same relative position.
Yeah.
Absolutely no stellar parallax, Mr. Sensible.
And we wouldn't expect it.
You can claim it all you want. Those two lights in the sky will never move in the same night.
No, and we never said they would. Is that a straw man, perchance? Or are you just such an idiot you don't even know what the stellar parallax is?
Yeah.
No.
Doesn't happen. Should
No.
have stellar parallax because they're at different distances. We're meant to be moving. They're meant to be staying still. And they're different distances, so we should absolutely see stellar parallax.
Well, that's a claim, Mitch, without you understanding it at all. And that was the end of number 20. I've got to take a few seconds off. Well, we're doing well, lads and lasses. That's 2/3 of them done. Thank goodness. Yeah, Venus is like 570 days from elongation to elongation. But yeah, if it's big, you won't see parallax on that thing. No, you're not. A few hours, we've basically got exactly the same view of, say, Jupiter. So, unless he's talking about Jupiter and Saturn supposed to be parallaxing against each other, I don't even know if we've got equipment sensitive enough to detect that sort of thing. But certainly with your home video camera, you're not going to see them parallaxing against the background of stars. He honestly, Mitch has absolutely nothing. Talk about Dunning-Kruger. It's not that he's got a couple of questions or some good evidences that really are going to make us struggle and think. He's just absolutely flat out wrong, has a total lack of understanding of 3D perspective, of scale, and some of them he doesn't even understand what the evidence is, and he thinks he can run this flat earth school. I really, really hope, I'm sure he's got a lovely family, but I really, really hope that he doesn't homeschool his kids. I genuinely hope he doesn't. Because even if there is no underhand deceit, which is hard, I'll be honest, it's hard to say based on his misquoting me, but even if there is no underhanded deceit, he's not got the training, he's not got the knowledge, he's not got the... I mean, I wouldn't want to homeschool my kids beyond a fairly young age. It's a bloody difficult thing to do. I mean, hats off to people who have the time, money and capability of doing it. Absolutely. But Mitch isn't it. And if he's teaching them this, he's setting them up for a lifetime of misery, a lifetime of fail. And I wouldn't wish that on your kids, Mitch, if you're watching. I really wouldn't. It is honestly quite sad, really, and it's one of the reasons I do this. I do it for the fun. I do it for the company, but I do it as well to try and stop people like you, Mitch, for your own benefit, for your family's benefit. Right, take a breather and then get into it. We broke the back of it, I think. Okay, come on then, Mitch. Do your worst.
Do we see it? No.
Come on.
And you're going to need half of that.
Oh, God. Ding.
21. Antarctica. It's thoroughly mapped and measured, and in no way is it a wall of ice around the entire world.
Nope.
Oh, so not a globe proof? You're not going to try and claim a globe? You're just saying something about Antarctica? Oh, that's not fun, is it? All right, move.
No, don't move on, Mitch. Absolutely. Flat earthers show a ring of ice all the way around the edge of the earth. They do not ever accept Antarctica as a continent on the air quotes bottom of the globe. Because if you travel south from South America or South Africa or Australia, where will you reach? You'll reach a different point around the circumference of Antarctica. And if you start travelling clockwise or anti-clockwise, you will circumnavigate Antarctica. You can navigate your way part way round and then head north and hit one of those other continents. That's not possible on a flat Earth. You know, South America's on the total opposite side of the North Pole on anything like a flat map from Australia. So if you head away from the North Pole and hit ice, that's on exact opposite side of the disk or the known disk. So how does that work, Mitch? The answer is it doesn't, because Antarctica cannot be in three places at once. And it is thoroughly mapped and measured. So yeah, that's evidence for a globe, which you have totally failed to address.
Moving on then.
22. Lunar eclipses. You can see the curved shadow of the Earth as it passes over the moon.
Oh yeah, the curved shadow of the Earth as it passes over the moon.
You just saw it.
What's that, number 22?
Yeah.
The curved shadow of the Earth?
Yep.
You would have disproved the radius of the Earth.
Ding. Yeah, you're going to need half of that, Mr. Sensible, aren't you?
Look, it doesn't matter what size the globe of the Earth is, Mitch. It's cast a bloody shadow. You can see the bloody shadow on the bloody moon. So if it's not the shadow of the Earth, whatever the radius, what in tarnation is it? You just saw it, Mitch. It's a shadow. It's a shadow with a circular edge. So, unless you've got an explanation for that, or unless you can prove or show evidence that I'm actually wrong, that that's a shadow of the Earth, which is possible, then that claim stands. And just saying you don't know the radius of the Earth doesn't wash, Mitch.
No, bless your soul.
Ah, so.
I'm getting sick of saying it. I wonder if someone else can say it for me. Some fun facts here. I was ready for this video, so I've got people like Adam Meakin.
Yeah, you're going to need half of that.
Yeah, I'm just going to play other people's videos.
Who the hell's Adam Meakin? I don't know. So should we hold much store in what he says? I guess not. If he's subservient to you. Is he your baby fluffette?
Videos of you're going to need half of that. I'm getting sick of saying it.
Ding.
Yeah. Whoop.
23. Actual photos of the Earth taken by the Apollo astronauts on physical film.
Did you get that, Mitch? Photos with an ordinary, though rather pricey camera, Hasselblad. Beautiful pictures of the Earth on physical negatives that are now kept in very, very secure, atmospherically stable conditions in a secure environment because they are invaluable. But yeah, real photos on real cameras, via real cameras on real film.
Oh yeah, so just going back to that. Actual photos.
Yep.
Go to fakingspace.com, Paul on the plane. Absolutely debunks every single aspect of the moon landings. Fakingspace.com.
Well, NASA says otherwise, and the US government's still happy to fund them to a very large amount of money, Mitch, even though apparently it's all fake. Wow. I wonder if they'll let me in on it, over and above my regular shield check, of course.
You think these are physical photos?
Yeah.
Go to paulontheplane.com. Go to fakingspace.com and see all the video evidence, all the photo evidence, that you say is photos that in the second law of thermodynamics violation, being space, the air that we breathe, all this air, all those clouds out there that we see, they will be sucked off. They will be blown off into the vacuum of space, They even say space is a space that all that can go.
Well, you know the answer to this, Mitch. Desert File said it. Gravity. It's gravity, Mitch. Gravity is the container. It's not a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. You're just wrong, Mitch. What else have I put some notes? Yeah. Yes, and some of the Earth's atmosphere actually extends out to and beyond the moon, Mitch. There are molecules of our atmosphere right out there. So some molecules are gradually escaping. About 90 tonnes worth a day, which sounds a scary number, but there's rather a lot left. So it's going to last for rather a long time. And perhaps you ought to tell Mr. Oakley, gas go down, go boom boom, Mitch.
Second law of thermodynamic violation. Yeah?
Yeah, only if I agreed, we'd both be wrong, wouldn't we, Mitch?
Things like this aren't possible. We have never travelled to the moon.
Then you have to explain it. It's all very well studying a JPEG image of whatever resolution, but the physical negatives exist. Prints from those original negatives exist. I myself have, not that photo, but I myself have a physical original 1969 print of Neil Armstrong on the moon. That print was from that negative, or they would have probably made a safety copy of the negative and used that. But basically, a negative was used to produce that print in 1969. So it's not a recent reprint. It's a photograph, Nick. Nick? Who the hell's Nick? Mitch? Where did that come from? I don't know. confusing me, Mitch, with your stupid. It's beginning to affect me. Do hurry up and stop.
Taken by the Apollo astronauts on physical film. 24. Northern and southern storm systems rotating in opposite directions due to Coriolis as it works on a globe.
I just had to bring up Coriolis, didn't I? Oh dear.
Okay, Coriolis. It's reared its head again.
Of course, Mitch.
Let's see. Where are we up to? All right, I'll play a bit more of a video. If we had Coriolis, yeah, why are these hot air balloons going in every direction? Why aren't they just drifting in one direction? Why can my drone sit there for over half an hour? Go back to that. This is a time lapse of a drone hovering there for half an hour that I did without drifting anywhere. Coriolis effect, you say, Mr. Sensible. And why, from a drone, can we see sunsets, moonsets, just the sun and moon moving? Yeah, why is this visible from a drone when it's meant to be the Earth rotating underneath the drone?
That is not what Coriolis is, Mitch. First of all, we don't expect the Earth to rotate underneath the drone, and even if it did, that's not Coriolis. You don't know what Coriolis is, do you, Mitch? For Coriolis effect to have an effect, you've got to travel from an area of a rotating reference frame, an area of the Earth, travelling at one rotational speed to an area with a greater or lesser rotational speed. If you stay in one place, you won't have Coriolis. Why can you not get this through your thick heads, you guys? So yeah, it's not. You don't expect the Earth to rotate under your drone. Your drone is flying in, what is it? The atmosphere. And the atmosphere is doing what, Mitch? It's rotating with the Earth at the same speed, bar any wind speed over and above that. But it's rotating at the same speed as the Earth in its immediate vicinity. So you don't expect it to move. This conservation of momentum. Oh dear. Yeah, go on.
It's a bit hard to see there. There we go. Star trails, yeah? How are they visible from a drone? This is from a drone, these shots right here. Let's go back to that. That moon set there, this is from a drone. If the drone is in the inertial reference frame,
it's not,
the
Mitch.
drone should be drifting away, yeah? It should be in lockstep, not with the Earth, but with the moon. The moon should be never moving from the view of the drone.
So, Mitch, do you not think that people such as physicists maybe, or helicopter designers or drone designers, do you think they've never thought of this? Do you really think that, hold on, we better not let people have drones, otherwise they'll realise that the Earth's not spinning because it will fly off at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator? You complete and utter gimboid. The reason it doesn't drift off is it has conservation of momentum. It's still rotating at the same speed of the Earth as the Earth, unless you actually fly it backwards, forwards, left or right. And as it's flying at the same, going at the same rotational velocity, it's in one place. It's hovering.
Yeah. And so what is Coriolis? I think we need to tell Mr. Sensible what real Coriolis is.
This is special. I'm ready and waiting. And then I may have another challenge for you, Mitch.
Coriolis is the apparent deflection. Yeah, when you're standing on a rotating reference frame like the Earth, and you're seeing something in the inertial reference frame apparently drifting. It is defined as an apparent drift. So if you say that things like cyclones and hurricanes are proof of Coriolis, yeah, that's an actual movement, isn't it? Those clouds are actually moving. The hurricanes and cyclones are actually moving. You need to know, you need to do a bit of research, Mr. Sensible, before you open your mouth and say all these things, because you don't even know what Coriolis is.
Au contraire, mon petit pois. Right, Mitch. You said Coriolis is not an apparent movement. You fire a cannon at a target and don't allow for Coriolis. You fire a cannon northwards at a target, it will miss. It will deflect to the right. So from the point of view of you and the target, it's a real movement. You fired it straight at the target, it curved off to the right. But if you were in the inertial reference frame looking down at that target, at that cannon, when it fires, you will see that the cannonball actually travels in a straight line. The problem is the cannon is moving eastward. The cannonball, as it's fired, still travelling, is moving eastward. It has conservation of momentum. The target is moving eastward. Unfortunately, the target is not moving eastward as fast as the cannon or the cannonball because it's at a higher latitude, and so it's got a lower rotational velocity. That's Coriolis. So my challenge to you, Mitch, is in layman's terms, okay? Because I'm not a physicist. In layman's terms, I challenge you to come on my channel, not to debate me, but I will get a physicist to come onto my channel, not prepped, just to discuss Coriolis. That's all he'll know. And we'll see who understands Coriolis at a lay level. Neither of us will understand it to the extent of a physicist. But have I got the right end of the stick, or have you, Mitch? Because I think that if you give that guff that you're giving now, he'll laugh his bloody socks off at you. Absolutely laugh his socks off. Absolutely ridiculous. Come on, let's get on to the next one, Mitch.
Yeah, it is. These are examples. Cyclones, hurricanes, storms, they're all examples of an actual movement. For Coriolis, it has to be an apparent movement.
No, Mitch. The clouds, looking at the image, let's say on the left, and the arrow going upwards, at the bottom of the arrow, that's further south than the top of the arrow. The wind pattern, or the pressure pattern, is moving northwards. Unfortunately, with the conservation of momentum, it's also travelling to the east, and so it curves right. So, from space, it would look as though, in fact, it won't look so much like a curve, more like a diagonal. But from the ground, it will look like a curve. You have no idea. So that's your challenge 3.
Not actually moving, just drift due to being on a rotating reference frame, seeing something in the inertial reference frame. But you say that those clouds are not in the inertial reference frame, so it's just a big...
No, of course the clouds aren't in the inertial reference frame. They're part of the Earth's atmosphere. They're in the rotating non-inertial reference frame. Blimey.
Cluster screw for you.
Yeah. There's another word for it, Mitch, but I'm too polite to use it here.
Mr. Sensible. Let me remind you what Simon Dan said.
Yeah, you and your reference frames have been ruined.
Yep, you and your reference frames have been ruined with the stuttering and everything, Mr. Sensible.
And who was he talking to, Mitch? Flat earthers.
All right, let's keep going. Plow through these.
As it works on a globe. 25.
Sorry, forgot to add. You're gonna need after that.
Oh, ding. Thank you,
Mitch.
Mitch.
Of stellar rotation in the night sky.
I like this one.
It's absolutely required for a globe Earth and absolutely cannot work on a flat Earth. I asked...
Yeah, 2 points of stellar rotation in the sky. Sort of like what they tell us is needed to have an axis for your globe Earth.
We don't make it up so that we can say we got an axis. Look at Polaris and the stars wheeling around it. Look southwards around Sigma Octanis, and look at the stars wheeling around the southern point of stellar rotation. It's not made up. You can go and blooming look at it. You can see the south. I can see the north.
Yeah, that is the only reason why you guys claim that those 2 points in the sky, stellar rotation, are proof of your globe Earth, because you need an axis for your globe Earth, yeah?
Well, if it's a 3-dimensional shape rotating, it will have an axis of rotation. Therefore, if you're at the, quote, top of that globe, looking upwards, the rotation will appear one direction. If you're at the bottom by the axis looking up, the rotation will appear the opposite direction, which, funnily enough, is exactly what we see in the northern and southern skies. So if it is not a 3D rotating shape, Mitch, what the hell are those 2 points of stellar rotation?
Looking at Polaris, see those star trails going around Polaris? Look at those star trails. You say that's the northern axis. And Sigma Octanis, in the south, is the southern axis. You need to first prove that the Earth can have an axis But you're going to need R for that, because if it's a sphere,
Ding.
you're going to need R for that, Mr. Sensible.
Well, we have proved that there are two. You can see there is evidence that there's 2 points of stellar rotation. So I'd like to see you explain how you can have 2 points of rotation of a flat object. Take a vinyl record, you've got a hole in the middle. Make another hole anywhere else on that record and try and get it to rotate around both points at the same time. If you can do that, I'll be bloody surprised. Please, Mitch, try. I'd like to see you totally waste your time trying to do that.
Yeah? So before you say that we're turning and the stars are stationary, you need to prove, number one, that we're on a globe. You're going to need R for that. Number two,
Ding.
that we're actually turning. And number three, that it's us turning on the stars.
Oh my goodness. Again, you have absolutely no concept of scale. So yes, we know there's rotation. You've all seen the time-lapse film of stellar rotation in the north, stellar rotation in the south. So you're suggesting that possibly it could be the stars that are rotating around us. Now, that's an okay position to take as, what's the word? I can't think. As an idea. Then you have to evidence it, don't you, Mitch? You have to look for evidence to either prove or we have to try and disprove it. Well, since the nearest star, Mitch, is 4.3 light years away, okay, so that would be the radius of any circle of it around us, its rotational circle. Since it's doing that in a day, what we need to do is work out the distance it would have to travel in 24 hours. Well, it's 4.3 light years, 2 pi r, which is 2 pi r, which is 2 pi times 4.3. Gives you just over 27 light years in 24 hours. And that equates to 9,855 times the speed of light. And that's the nearest star. What about galaxies that are billions of light years away, Mitch? They're going to, they've got to go infinitely times the speed of light. It's just guff, Mitch. That's impossible. And if you've done 6 impossible things before breakfast, why not round it off with breakfast at Milliways? Go on, Mitch.
You're going to need R for that.
Ding.
Oh, man. I'll get someone else saying it. I think I got... Who else have I got?
Santa Claus?
Anthony Riley doing his best pirate impression. I've got DRTRH that you want to claim your Bitcoin from.
You're going to need R for that.
Ding.
Yep, you're going to need R for that, Mr.
Ding.
Sensible. This is terribly embarrassing for you, mate. I don't think we're even through it yet. Do I have access to Skype? Yeah, I do, but not at the moment.
It's from Australia for an explanation. What did he say? But still, keep.
Oh, yes. I had a debate with Mitch. It was a question I asked you, Mitch, wasn't it? Mitch, how can you explain 2 points of stellar rotation? Let's see how that went, Mitch.
Keeping away from stars, Mitch. I want to hold you to that. There's still no explanation for 2 rotation points in the sky.
So let me explain something.
Well, you stopped it. You stopped it there. What are you going to explain?
To you, Mr. Sensible. When I say I have no explanation for the things that rotate in the sky, that means I don't have to explain it. It happens. We are not denying that there are 2 points of rotation in the sky. That does not mean you have a globe Earth beneath your feet. That does not mean that the globe Earth is spinning.
Hold on. A few minutes ago, you were saying that we can see... Well, you were saying that we would have to prove that there's rotation. Anyway, let's have a listen to your whole clip when I asked you that. Let's see if you said that you don't have to prove it. But
So
still, you're keeping away from stars, Mitch. I want to hold you to that. There's still no explanation for 2 rotation points in the sky.
Because I don't have an explanation for 2 rotation points in the sky.
Okay.
That's asserted because
fair enough.
Because it's asserted that we live on a...
So, Mitch, it wasn't like that, was it? It was just, no, I haven't got an explanation for 2 stellar points of rotation. Too damn right you haven't. You cannot have 2 points of rotation on a rigid, flat object, Mitch. It is physically impossible. Geometrically impossible. However, with any 3D shape, you're going to have an axis of rotation. You could have said, well, yeah, there's 2 points of rotation, an axis of rotation, perhaps Earth is a cube. That would have been a better answer than, oh, I don't have to prove it. That's absolute hogwash, Mitch. Total fail. Now, you have used cherry-pick quote of me on that debunking the radius, and you actually cherry pick a quote of me again by cutting off your answer when you quite plainly say, no, I don't have an answer for that, do I, Mr. Sensible? Yeah. Right, at that, 25. Before I bust a blood vessel, I'm going to take another break. This is the last one. And then we got the final push for stupid. So I'll check for any supers and then have a look in the chat. Oh, yeah, got a couple more. Let me just expand it. From Aaron Armstrong, thank you, Aaron, $5 Australian. Mitch does homeschool his 5 kids and advises others on how to do it. Now that is bloody scary. Absolutely scary. It's not even someone trying to homeschool and perhaps teach physics or chemistry and making an error. He has been told, endlessly told, how he's wrong on these. Now, maybe he's okay on physics and chemistry that he teaches his kids. Maybe he reads exactly what's in whatever textbooks. But if he's telling them this crap, then, well, we know what people said that is. I shall not sound it out loud. But it's not good. Not good at all. The Snark super chatted €2 saying Nick equals Gigantor. Phuket word. Absolutely, Nick is. But I wasn't even thinking of him. I don't know why it came up in my head about Nick. But there we go. So how are you guys? I've got 231. Lovely jubbly. How's it going? Your head's popped yet? Oh, well, Rockin' Robbins 13 says child abuse. Well, you may say that, Rockin' Robbins 13. I couldn't possibly comment. Can anyone quote me where that came from? Tell me where that quote came from. So Rachie 500 zeros is still here. 2 celestial poles. Yeah, Rachie, if you want to come on sometime and we can talk about that, okay? You know that I'm a friendly channel. We can disagree. We can argue without any muting and booting and all that crap you can get on someone like Nathan Oakley. We can disagree. That's fine. But perhaps if you'd like to, you can drop me a line. You can email me, mr-sensible@hotmail.com. My links are in the description below. And let's sort it out. Come on a stream and we'll pick 1 or 2 points, because there's no point in splurging with everything. We'll pick 1 or 2 points. Perhaps 2 points of stellar rotation, or I can't remember, there was something else that you were interested in that we discussed, that I mentioned earlier on. Pick 1 or 2 points like that and we can have a good chat about them. Okay? I'm not trying to... I won't be trying to badger you into anything. I'll be trying to explain things in a different way, a lay way. I'm not a scientist. I'm a lay person with a good lay understanding of these things. And the areas that I'm not so sure of, I'm happy to say I'm not so sure on that, and I'm happy to go find out and have a look. Actually, with regard to that, he's got a bit more to say in that. I'll let him say it in a second. Hello, Colon. I did see you at the top of the stream. I do see that I've got rather a lot of notes, DMs come through on Discord. I'm glad to see, to be honest, is known in the live waiting room, because by the time we finish this, after this last chunk, and there's a little bit at the end, I'll be calling it a night. So I hope you're all having fun. I am. My throat's going a bit dry. Actually, I just remembered I got the other drink. Tea. The British Empire was built on tea, you know. I could build another empire now. Right, I'll just see a super chat's come in. Let me refresh and have a look at that. From Erin Meow. Hello, Erin Meow. $5 Australian dollars. Good morning. No questions. It's 6 a.m. here in Western Australia, and I'm still embarrassed to be an Aussie. Look, Erin, Australia is a stunning country. Australia has wonderful people. It really does. Australia is a place I would adore visiting. Australia is a place my daughter lived for, oh gosh, around a year, I think it was. Don't ever be ashamed of your country. It's a lovely country with fine people. This guy is just a chuffing idiot. Every country has them. It's just that this chuffing idiot has access to the internet, and he's chuffing his idiocy all over the internet. But that is no, what's the word? That casts no shadow over you or your other fine compatriots. Okay, Mitch, let's do this thing, okay? That was 25 that you've just about finished. You had a little bit more to say. I shall let you finish off that and we'll plough through the last 5. Go.
You're going to need half of that, Mr.
God.
Sensible. Did you forget about that crazy little detail? Yeah?
Oh.
It's a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
Oh, you didn't play him? He said he didn't know about that, but he does like fluffy little kittens. But you didn't play that. You didn't debunk that, did you? Ha-ha. That showed you.
Let's go to the next one.
Oh.
26. The seasons. Absolutely explained by a rotating globe orbiting the sun. No explanation at all for a flat Earth.
The seasons. That's a good one, isn't it?
Just before you do, I've got notes here. I think it was for the last evidence, and I think you briefly mentioned Anthony Riley, because I've got another challenge for you, Mitch. This one is not globe Earth versus flat Earth. This one is extremely simple. This one is a moral challenge, Mitch. Please, someone let him know. Mitch, all I want you to do is to say publicly that you condemn Anthony Riley's comments about targeting children. I don't care if you believe every single thing he says about zero gravity or whatever it is, about dense eggs in his relatively dumb distribution curve, whatever the hell it is. Believe all that. Go ahead, knock yourself out. But I'm just asking you to condemn that behaviour. And actually, I don't know. No, I'm not. I don't want to pick on anyone who's in the chat in particular. But I would say any flat earthers who happen to be watching. Okay, this is not an attack on flat Earth. This is not evidence for globe Earth. This is not anything like that. It's purely a moral question. If someone of whichever community, flat or globe, says that they're going to target children to push their narrative, it is wrong. It should be called out as wrong by everyone on both sides and neither side. Okay, so there's your next challenge, Mitch. Just briefly say in a video or something, Anthony Riley is wrong to say or to actually target children. I'd like to hear you say that. You would go up in my estimation. To be honest, if you don't come out and say that when someone asks you, that's quite shameful. Carrying on.
Season. So, again, we're claiming orbits. Mr. Sensible, after seeing this video, have you got any evidence of orbits?
Yeah, I just showed you those orbits of Jupiter's moons from the Juno mission.
Yes? No? Maybe?
Yeah.
Don't know?
Yeah.
Because, once again, you're only claiming this because you think that you have a tilt.
No, I don't think we have a tilt, Mitch. We know we have a tilt. That's why we get the changing seasons. That's why the patterns of the stars change.
And the tilt is only because you want to... This line here, that's real north. That's magnetic north.
No, Mitch, it isn't. You are downright flat out wrong. I'll explain why in a minute.
And the tilt, 23.45 degrees, is because you want to get away from magnetic north and you want to tilt your globe. You want to put yourself on a globe and you want to tilt it and make it a new north.
Why? Why the hell would we want to do that? If there was no tilt, we would be quite happy to say that there is no tilt. We would have to think of another explanation for the seasons, but there is tilt, Mitch. That's a simple fact. The fact that it tilts by 23.45 degrees is exactly why the Tropic of Capricorn, the Tropics of Cancer are 23.45 degrees north and south of the equator. That is why the extent, the northernmost and southernmost extent of the sun is 23.45 north and south of the equator, as you admitted it was earlier on in this very presentation. Funny that happens to be exactly the same as the amount of tilt, eh, Mitch?
True north. That's what you call it, true north, which is the geographic north, which is the top of your globe. Yeah, you're gonna need half of that. I'm going to do a presentation on magnetic declination and how we came to the tilt.
Yes, geographic north is true. Is true north. We got. Oh God, honestly, Mitch, this is absolutely pathetic. If you're stood on that north, you're 23 degrees tilted, and that's where Polaris is at 90 degrees above you at that point.
So you say the seasons are from the tilt. The seasons are just trying to bastardize what we see on the compass. This line right here, that's magnetic north. Yeah, that is the only true absolute direction. And
no, it isn't, Mitch. Won't be long. I'll show you why you're an idiot. Don't worry.
You say that we're living on a globe and you need to account for magnetic declination to line up with your true north, the geographic north, the point where all the longitudes converge. Yeah.
So you're saying that you've got a if we take that circle, let's call it top and bottom, just for the sake of ease. The top, where that dotted line goes, you're saying is magnetic north. We have a North Pole a distance away, and the stars are wheeling around above that. Why? Why do they choose to wheel around that point? No explanation for that either, Mitch.
No. All we need to do is look at magnetic north. There is no true north, as you would say. There is no geographic north.
Now I hope I can take. No, it's not going to let me. That's 45.50, will it?
Okay.
Oh, it's resized. Is that still all right? Hold on.
Hey, Michael Kahn, how
let's
are
come
you?
right back to the beginning. Hold
Thanks
on a
for being
second. 45.
We are not.
Hold on, let me just resize this. Get it right. I don't know why that happened. That looks about right. Let me jump forward. Right, there's the diagram. Mitch, you do not know what you're talking about. That dotted line is not the magnetic north and south. It's nothing like it. That is simply the orbital axis. If the Earth is the Earth is orbiting around the Sun, that is perpendicular to the path of that orbit. It doesn't change. Magnetic north changes at a rate of about 30 to 40 miles each year. Currently, it's currently magnetic north is 248 miles south of the North Pole. Okay, that's magnetic north. The orbital axis, that dotted line, is 1,622 miles away. That's 6.5 miles. 6.5 times further away. That you just don't even know what that diagram is. That orbital axis though does change over time from 21.1 to 24.5 degrees. That's giving you your tilt. That changes in a cycle that lasts 41,000 years. Okay? You just have no idea what you're talking about. So we got that orbital axis slowly precessing over like a top over 41,000 years. So over our lifetimes, it's nothing. You know, it makes no difference. You've got the rotational axis between the North and South Pole, the geographic, true, and then you've got magnetic, which is wandering around all over the place at 30 to 40 miles a year. You're a bloody idiot, and if you are homeschooling your kids, you should stop. And if you only need teaspoons, I suggest you take them back to the shop and ask for your money back and tell them you're too stupid to be trusted around dangerous machinery. My goodness. Go on, Mitch.
Which is the top of your globe.
We're probably
You're gonna need half of
replaying a
that.
little bit.
I'm
for
going
a
to
few
do a
seconds. Sorry
presentation
about
on
that.
magnetic
Yeah.
declination and how we came to the tilt. So you say
We're
the
coming up to
seasons are from the
27
tilt.
now, so don't
The
be downhearted,
seasons
siblings.
are just trying to bastardize what we see on the compass. This line right here, that's magnetic north. Yeah, that is the only true absolute direction. And you say that we're living on a globe and you need to account for magnetic declination to line up with your true north, the geographic north, the point where all the longitudes converge. Yeah? No. All we need to do is look at magnetic north. There is
Sorry,
no
I have to listen to this again.
true north, as you would say. There is no geographic north. No, there's definitely no axis that you need for your globe Earth. You're gonna need half of that.
I'm not sure if I ding that one. I give him the benefit of the doubt.
27, day and night. Yeah, I think we got that one covered.
Oh, so not even a globe Earth claim? Just put the globe there? Well, you're gonna need half of that, Mr. Sensible. Let's
Ding.
see. Like,
That's not a proof. You don't get that. You don't understand that, Mitch. I showed you the image of a sphere half lit up. So half daylight, half night. And you don't understand how that is evidence for a globe, when what we've got with flat Earth is this at certain times of the year. So you've got more than 50% of that sphere because it's all stretched and bastardized, and somehow you've got the sun showing it over the well, I'm not sure where it's supposed to be. I guess it's supposed to be somewhere over the South Atlantic. So you've got night over towards Australia, but going further away, it's suddenly light again. So the light has decided to go round in a huge sort of circular-ish path and meet at the other side, missing out Australia. Only if you have a globe or a tennis ball, shine a torch at it, basically about 50% of it is lit up. It's simple. If you can't get that, Mitch, if you can't get that, well, I'm surprised you actually know how to swallow water.
should we say it again? Should we play your clip again? Yeah, it's getting a bit windy here. Yeah, what do we need?
You would have disproved
Ding.
the radius of the Earth.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep playing it every time you put an image up of the globe. Every time you claim you have a globe Earth proof, you need the
Come on,
radius
get up to 28.
value for your globe Earth, and you have admitted that we have just debunked the radius.
No, I
of the
didn't.
Earth.
Ding.
28. Neutrino detectors like this one, a Kamiokande detector. It can detect neutrinos streaming from the sun, even in the middle of the night when those neutrinos are coming from below your feet.
I'm going to pause it straight away. Oh, there you go. It's the Kamiokande. So you heard the audio anyway. That's the Kamiokande neutrino detector. It's several thousand feet underground. It detects neutrinos streaming. Well, neutrinos come from every direction, but primarily the sun. And in fact, if you register all the hits, you can build up an image using the data of the direction they come from, of the sun and its position. The best time is in the middle of the night, when the neutrinos have passed all the way through the Earth, because they flip types more easily then. So basically, let's say midnight, the neutrinos are coming from straight down. So how the hell is that going to work if the sun is somewhere over there, over a flat Earth? It's my idea, this one was, neutrinos, because I knew that they would help in some way, and they damn well did. So you need to explain, Mitch, how neutrinos from the sun are coming from beneath your feet. It's easy, Mitch. With a sphere, the sphere rotates, and the whole of the Earth is between you and the sun. Easy. What are you going to say about it, though?
So, not another... You're just tapering off here, Mr. Sensible. Is this even a globe Earth claim?
Yes, Mitch. It's a globe Earth evidence, Mitch. And you don't even understand it, do you? Be honest, man, and say, I actually don't understand that one. That'd be fine. I'd happily explain it to you more. And then you can make up shit about it.
If you're saying... Well, maybe. If you're saying that something is coming from beneath our feet, yeah, kind of being antipodal, what do you need for that?
At best, you would have disproved the radius of the Earth.
So that's the best you can do, Mitch. Not even a made-up question about rainbows, or made-up evidence about rainbows and unicorn farts. Not even the honesty to say Mr. S, I'm not sure what you're getting at. Perhaps you can explain it and then I'll look at it. No, you can just use a cherry-pick misquote. What an absolute fail.
Yep, you're gonna need half of that once again,
ding.
Mr. Sensible. Almost over.
29 tsunamis. The waves propagate around the world in a pattern that equates to a sphere. The timings do not work on a flat Earth.
Once again, you're trying to set up a false dichotomy, aren't you, Mr. Sensible? You're
No.
trying to say that we have a model and you hold it up in false dichotomy compared to your globe Earth model, and you say that the globe Earth model, which has all the funding, which has all the reverse engineering applied to it, which has all the brilliant minds applied to it to make us believe that we're living on the globe. Yeah? You're trying to hold that up in false dichotomy. We've been in this game for, what, 6 years, max? 7?
So basically, Mitch, you're making excuses. When you get a tsunami, the waves, by default, will radiate out, just like ripples. Then there are differences according to the depths of the ocean, where there's islands and things like that, where channels narrow and so on. But basically, they're radiating out. Here's a nice animation to show the sort of thing that we get. Now, if you followed those ripples outwards, they're getting wider and wider circumference from the start point, and that they will travel around in a pattern of a sphere. As simple as that. If you flatten it out to any sort of globe map, the waves in one area, for no reason, will be hours and hours ahead of other waves which should be travelling at the same or arriving at the same time, or even later. It doesn't work on a flat Earth, Mitch. It's not a false dichotomy. And you saying about you not having a model doesn't mean something physical that you've made with plaster and bog rolls and string and double-sided sticky tape. A model is a consistent set of explanations to explain the observations that you see, and with those explanations, based on those observations, you can make predictions. That's a model. That's all you need. You don't need to write anything down. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to have money to do that. You can take your measurements of the sun and the stars, your measures of your Earth flatness and so on, and work out how one of these tsunami patterns should appear. Then compare it to how it does. And you'll find it won't match a flat model or a flat set of assumptions, but it will match a sphere, Mitch. Absolutely, it will match a sphere.
Give us a bit of time, give us a bit of funding, and yeah, we will give you a map of our flat Earth. But until then, we don't claim a map of the flat Earth, so you can't say that, yeah.
You don't claim... You guys are claiming all sorts of things, but you never want to say you're claiming because we want to see the evidence. The best you can do is to poke at the globe Earth model. The problem is you're not poking it in a valid way, because you really, really do not understand it. This is why you and the other flat earthers keep looking like absolute idiots, much to the merriment of the rest of the world. But I'll be honest, although it's fun having a laugh, it would genuinely be nicer if you were able to learn and understand it. If you had learnt and understand it, then you could challenge it. But it'll be tough, because the globe model is very, very good. It's used throughout almost every way of life, from aircraft flights to space travel to all sorts. It's all based on gravity and the shape of the Earth, Mitch, and it all works in one consistent set of explanations. The model. A shame you ain't got one. Have you checked behind the sofa? Maybe it's there.
Works better on the globe, or it works better on the flat Earth. Because remember, Mr. Sensible, what do you need for a globe Earth?
At best,
Ding.
you would have disproved the radius of the Earth.
55 times,
Yeah,
Mitch.
Nathan Oakley, he loves to recycle his fallacies. He's got short-term memory loss, doesn't he?
Well, Nathan Oakley needs to shut up and contemplate his own little bulge.
Yeah. Number 30. Almost through this. Thanks for sticking with me, everyone.
The timings do not work on a flat Earth. Number 30, tow tanks. This tank at Southampton.
Thanks, Flo Rider, for the idea of tow tanks. Quite a while back in his 1 minute debunk. Good man.
University is 138 metres long. They have to allow for the curvature on the surface of the water. That curve, the hump, if you like, is 0.6 millimetres along its length. And finally, bonus evidence.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so we've got a claim of curvature over water. Do we need to go through the black swan again? Yeah? Curvature over water? Where's the curvature in between BMLSB 69's video here? From his observer point, 1 foot over water. Where's the curvature? Did he account for any curvature? No, the horizon line is far in the distance.
Because it's refracted upwards, and you know this horrific refraction because the cranes are all bendy. You guys have been told this time and time again, so I'm not going to go into it anymore now.
Far past 10 miles. Definitely no curvature there, Mr. Sensible.
Get back to my tow tank.
That's number 30 of your globe earth proofs debunked.
What? You haven't debunked it at all. That tank was from the University of Southampton. It's 138 metres long. Now, as we all know, Mitch, water finds its own level, doesn't it? So you, believing in flat Earth, would predict that the water surface is flat. It has to be on a flat Earth. Fine. What you have on each side of the tank are rails for a gantry to roll along, because from that gantry they project the model of the boat that they're testing in the tow tank with waves and so on. They project, yes, so you have a gantry riding on wheels on rails. So what you don't want is, if that's your flat water surface, you don't want the rails going up and down because it'll push your model lower and pull it out of the water. It has to be the same distance above the surface of the water. Well, that's fine, says Mr. Flat Earther. The water seeks its own level, so those rails must be dead straight. Only they're not. They are adjusted, and the curve in the rails at 138 metres long, Mitch, gives you a sagittar, a hump in the middle if you like, of 0.6 millimetres. That doesn't mean that the rail in the middle with a sagittar of 0.6 millimetres, it doesn't mean it's 0.6 millimetres higher above the surface of the water. It's exactly the same height above the surface of the water from one end of the tank to the other end, because the rail is curved as is the surface of the water. Boom. Curved water proved. Well, that was about the last one. I think you're nearly wrapped up, nearly done. Let's just let you finish, and then I've got a little bit to add on the end.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to start looking in the chat now because we've still got a bit of time. And Nathan Oakley just said, what
about the bonus map?
This water here in this tank, is that the geometric horizon when we're seeing that little bulge you just detailed?
Yeah, well, if you were down at the surface of the water at one end of the tank, then and looking directly at the other end of the tank, yeah, you've got a bulge in the middle of 0.6 millimetres. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to see. But it's there.
Yeah, is there stuff hidden behind that 3 millimetres, Mr. Sensible?
0.6.
You're going to need half of that, mate.
Ding.
Long. They have to allow for the curvature on the surface of the water. That curve, the hump, if you like, is 0.6 millimetres along its length.
Yeah, Mark.
So, have you got an explanation for that, Mitch? Can you explain why they had to spend weeks literally adjusting those rails to get them exactly perfect and ended up with a curve? I'd like to hear an actual evidence against it. Show me that they're straight, or explain some other reason why they would have to make them curved, but still able to keep the models at the same distance, in the water with the gantry. Because until you can, you haven't debunked it, have you?
In the chat says, they made a tow tank for the hump of water. Yeah,
a name giggle, that always helps, doesn't
Black
it?
Swan, it's a bitch.
And finally, bonus evidence number 31. We got a map, you ain't.
Okay, back to the map thing. Okay, let's bring up.
Well, it's quite critical, really, Mitch. We've got a map that equates to the globe and can be used for all sorts of things. And when you're at the right scale, you can use it for directions. You can use it for walking around your countryside. You can use it for navigating ships. Yeah, you got nothing.
That is close to my heart here. The number one flat earth proof. Yeah? The entire world, Mr. Sensible. I keep sending you this video.
No, you don't. I have not received a single email from you, Mitch. My email address is everywhere. It's not hidden. I have seen that you've got this video, but I'm not particularly interested in sextants. I have had a glance. I'll make some comments about it in a minute. But no, if you particularly want me to tackle a video, it would be probably quite sensible and wise and polite to actually bloody let me know.
And this is something that you need to address, Mr. Sensible. The number one flat earth proof, the use of a sextant with celestial bodies, celestial navigation, being done for hundreds of years successfully on our flat earth. It absolutely needs to happen on a flat earth, yeah?
No, it won't work on a flat earth.
Using flat earth maps, Mr. Sensible.
Oh dear.
And I also want to point out that every single map that we have, Google Maps, Near Maps, every map that you have, it's got a little elevation tool on it. Have you ever used it, Mr. Sensible?
Yeah.
Every single map that we have is a flat earth map, because using the elevation tool, there is no drop.
Mitch, you could have only been more stupid by using Quantum Eraser's Alice and Bob crap. I cannot believe that you are so uninformed, so dumb that you'll bring that up. Basically, by drawing a line across, let's say, the Atlantic or across one of the Great Lakes or something, if you're if you've got a point on one shore at 0 elevation, you're saying the point on the other shore is 0 elevation, therefore there's no drop. Of course there's no bloody drop. It's 0 elevation against sea level. It's 0 elevation right across, because that's the level of the sea. You complete idiot. Are you expecting the map to... You are. That is as dumb AF, Mitch. It really is. I mean, if you seriously think that's going to show drop or curve, then you're just turnip peelings, and rotten turnip peelings at that. Just get on with it.
On any of those maps, using the elevation tool over water. Huh? Is there? No. It's just elevation. There's no drop, there's no curvature, there's no bulge. Every single map that we have,
unbelievable,
proves
that you're an idiot.
It is a flat earth map. So for you to claim that as a globe earth map, what do you need, Mr. Sensible? Yeah, you need that R value. Yeah,
Ding.
You're going to need R for that.
What I could do is a 12 gauge shotgun, I think.
This here, if we're on the equator looking at Polaris, which is, well, no, sorry. Let me start again. So this is an example of a flat earth map here.
Oh, is it? I thought you didn't have maps. And what the hell is Greenland doing looking bigger than North America, Mitch? Could it be that it's a globe map projected onto a flat map? Idiot.
So if we're 15 degrees above the equator and we can see Polaris, yeah, we're measuring with the sextant 15 degrees to Polaris. Yeah, DRTRH in the chat says, got any drop with that map? Oh, you're going to need R for that.
Ding for you and DITRH. So you're going to claim there's an elevation drop across an ocean, are you? Chuff nugget.
Yep. Nathan Oakley says this was a total fail. 0 for 30. No, is that...
Yeah. Well, Nathan Oakley has finally got something right, Mitch. You are a total fail. 0 for 30. And this is the bonus 31.
Actually 0 for 31. He's given us number 31 is every map is a globe map. Nope. You're going to need R for that, Mr.
Oh, ding again.
Sensible. And there's no drop. There's no drop in any of your maps. And I'll just take you through the basic premise.
I'm sorry, I can't hold it anymore. I can't believe it, Mitch. How can you seriously sit there and quote Google Earth and say, oh, look, there's no drop on that side of the English Channel. There's no drop on that side. It's flat. You're an idiot. What? That's like measuring, oh, the height above the table at this end is 0. The height above the table at that end is 0, so there's no drop. Well, of course not. how stupid do you have to be to think... I'm sorry. Oh, come on, just get on with it, Mitch.
Of why the sextant in celestial navigation is the #1 flat Earth proof. So if we were 15 degrees above the equator, seeing Polaris, yeah, we're measuring 15 degrees.
Yeah.
So we can assert that we are on a circle of equal altitude.
That will be 15 degrees north of the equator, won't it? That's your latitude, Mitch.
So somewhere on that circle of equal altitude, looking at Polaris, 15 degrees above the horizon, the diameter of that circle of equal altitude is 10,375 miles of absolute flat Earth sea. Yeah?
No, Mitch. I thought I could do the globe. Well, here's one I prepared earlier. So I'll tilt it just to... Oh, let me adjust slightly. So I'm keeping the equator level, okay? So if this is about 15 degrees north, following it around... So there's your 15 degrees to Polaris up there. What says and what shows that everything in between is curved? Absolutely nothing. All you're saying is from this point, looking to Polaris, which is due north, up that way, it's 15 degrees. Same as it is from around this side, it's 15 degrees. That says nothing about the shape in between. Please, just finish up, Mitch. Oh my goodness.
Flat Earth. Flat sea.
Flat
and
head.
flat sky for that matter. You need to go and see the #1 flat Earth proof, Mr. Sensible.
Oh God.
And that's just one observation from one point. Yeah? And that circle of equal altitude right there, using the sextant, this is just how sextants work. It uses the star's GP, so the distance from Polaris's GP to the observer, which is 15 degrees above the equator. Yeah.
The sextant doesn't use the distance. The sextant just measures the angle of the star, Polaris in this case. It measures its angle above the horizon, allowing for dip, allowing for refraction, and a few other bits and pieces. And yeah, so that gives you your latitude around a sphere. It doesn't work on a flat map, Mitch.
That's the radius value. We have radius values on our flat Earth. It's not from the center of our presupposed Earth. No, it is on our flat Earth from the GP to the observer point. And do you know what the area of this circle of equal altitude is, Mr. Sensible? 84.5 million miles squared. That's an area of 84.5 million miles squared.
Well, on my globe, taking that band, that line around the Earth at 15 degrees north, there's area within it, Mitch, that doesn't show anything. What your only problem is that you need to be able to show that at 15 degrees north of the equator, 15 degrees north of the equator, the height of Polaris is 15 degrees above the horizon on a flat Earth. So you should be able to show that on my challenge. So as well as those 10-degree steps that I asked you to do, perhaps you could just chuck one in for 15 degrees. See how that works out for you, because it won't.
Weird. Of flat Earth, just from that one observation. And if we use this map of all the celestial navigation stars...
And you're going to get something else wrong, aren't you, Mitch? Come on.
To triangulate your position...
You do not triangulate with a sextant, Mitch. What you're showing is trilateration, not triangulation. That's a totally different thing. So if you're going to put yourself forward as an expert on sextants, which I certainly am not, and I'm happy to admit that, but then I'm not making all these stupid claims about it, then you ought to at least know what the bloody words are.
On Earth, you need to use multiple stars, so you get multiple areas of equal altitude, and you can literally measure our entire world as flat.
No, that's not measuring it as flat. And I mean, I saw Bob the Science Guy's got a brilliant video about sextants. I think he was in a stream with QE and whoever else. Sextants do not triangulate your position. None of those flat earthers could understand that. It doesn't triangulate your position. It gives you an angle to a known star, giving you your latitude. That's all. So on the Earth, it's giving you your horizontal position around this sphere. To work out how far around the sphere you are, you need to know where that star should be according to the rotation of the Earth from the prime meridian through Greenwich, which is why you need an extremely accurate timepiece, which was always a great challenge for sailors going back into the whatever century. And when they had accurate clocks, you could work out the time and look up where that star should be over your head, and then work out your longitude as well as your latitude. That gives you your position. It's all very technical, very interesting, very complicated, and certainly way above Mitchell's head.
There are no two ways about it, Mr. Sensible. Every single map that you see is a flat Earth map. It has been navigated as flat. It has been measured as flat using this sextant. See all those circles? Areas of equal altitude? They are all flat Earth measurements.
No, those are circles of equal altitude. Basically, taking that ship on the left, and there's a large blue circle. So a star with its GP over the centre of that circle is at a certain angle. Everywhere around that circle, that star would appear at the same angle above the horizon. Fine. It doesn't tell you the shape of the Earth in between, Mitch. It doesn't. It's like taking a ball and slicing off a portion and having the dome shape. I can't think what the geometric shape is. That's all it is. That doesn't show you at all. Yeah, so I said about the accurate timepiece, and when you're reading the angle to the star, you've got to allow for a refraction. R doesn't come into it, Mitch. So I don't know if you actually use that. You're going to have R, because you certainly do not have to have R to calculate your position with a sextant. So challenge number 5, Mitch. Okay, I have admitted I'm not an expert on sextants, but there are plenty of people out there, sailors, with good and thorough knowledge of how to use them. Okay, and they'll be able to address and point out your stupidity in many other ways, I'm very sure. So I challenge you to have a one-to-one discussion purely on sextants with someone who actually is someone who has knowledge of them. And I will happily host. I will not take part. I will just literally host. So there's another challenge for you. So I think, to be honest, we're done. So I had a few. Oh no, I've got one last thing. But before I do, so you have evaded several of the evidences I gave, Mitch. Just hand waved them away with no attempt, however poor, at explaining them. 3 or 4 of them, you didn't even understand the evidence, like that Krakatoa one. You did not get why I put that forward as an evidence, so you certainly couldn't debunk it. And some of them, you were just giggling inanely at them. I think it was embarrassment at not knowing what it was I was talking about. And of course, you used a couple of cherry-picked misquotes against me. 59 of them counting right now, for 30 evidences. That's shameful, absolutely shameful. I've never seen anyone use so many. I mean, you pick more cherries than there are in an orchard. Absolutely embarrassing. And so how many would I class you as having debunked? None. How many would I class you of having raised a serious question that requires me to spend some more time thinking about it and perhaps coming back to you? None. How many of them have you totally made yourself a fool of? All of them. Absolutely abysmal. Right, I want to show you just something else Mitch said in this video. Okay, I'll just go to the exact point as best I can. Oh, let me go forward now. Right. have a listen to something criminally stupid. Well, another criminal offence.
And we can kind of see, look at the horizon out there at the moment. Anyone notice those crepuscular rays? Anyone notice that sunlight never comes in parallel to us? It's beautiful, isn't it? $4.50 super chat. Sorry,
Yeah, I'll have a $4.50 super chat from you, Mitch, with an apology for your stupidity. Crepuscular rays, really? You do realise that parallel lines will apparently diverge due to perspective, such as rail tracks. And I'm going to jump you back to a certain point in the video. 0.00 in your video. Look, you apparently have crepuscular planks on your picnic table. Just due to perspective, those lines between those planks appear to diverge. And if you turn around the other way and there's another picnic table, you're going to have anti-crepuscular picnic table lines. You complete donkey. Look, Mitch, after going through this, laughing, making some notes, crossing them out because I couldn't believe the things I was having to say, writing them down again. Well, after all this and spending many hours considering the many fine evidences you put forward, I decided that what I really needed to do, Mitch, was actually learn to speak a little bit of Australian. I haven't got the accent, so you'll have to forgive me, okay? But, Mitch, having considered your video, I would like to say that you are a bodgy bogan bludger of a bin chicken who big notes himself when actually it appears you're a bombed boof head. I struggled over that word, Mitch. Let me start again. You're a bodgy bogan bludger of a bin chicken who big notes himself when actually it appears you're a bombed boof head with Buckley's chance of getting anything right. Bruce, you complete donkey. With that, I'm well and truly done. Thank you, Mitch, for the entertainment, I think. So let me go back. Time's getting on, so I'm going to read the super chats and we'll have to do a quick roundup because I did see something had come in. Let me just refresh. Whew, that was... a couple have come in. Let me just zoom in. So we got Tim Tully. Thank you, Tim. $5 US. Zoned out for a bit. You and me both, my friend. Zoned out for a bit, but I do intend to watch the whole thing again in the next day or two. Sorry. Listen, you have no need to apologise. I had to take breaks every 5. It's not easy. It's not easy. And Andy B123. Good evening, Andy. Super chat £10 sterling. Thank you, Andy. Sorry, I fell asleep. Well, hopefully that was in something Mitch said and not something I said, but I forgive you anyway. I fell asleep. I woke up to there's no elevation drop. My head hurts. Yeah, mine too. We'll watch later. It's been a long day. Yeah, Andy, it's been a long few days for me with that. Oh, and Tim Tully again. Super chat, $5 US. See Dr. Bob's Research Flat Moon series on the sextant. Absolutely. That's the one I was talking about, Tim. It is brilliant. And when he's there with QE and the others, they do not get it. I mean, how the hell do they think a sextant is going to triangulate your position? It looks at the horizon, looks at the angle to a star. You then have to look up, you have to make adjustments to allow for refraction, to allow for index error. That's instrument error, not instrumental error, which some derp was trying to claim against Bob, and so on. These other errors need to be calculated in, and look it up in an almanac, and then compare that with the time of day to get your longitude. Yeah. Now that's the deepest that I understand it. So any more you will need to discuss with someone who does know about sextants. Oh, I have one other thing. Just to round up, Mitch, a quick recap. Challenge 1, diagram of Polaris angles for £100, please. Let me just quickly flick them up here. Where is that? So a diagram like that, Mitch, showing angles from Polaris down to a flat Earth at 90, 80, 70 through to 10 degrees. Okay? Should be nice and simple because you said it's a simple linear relationship. So if you do that, Mitch, I will give you £100. If you can show that the distances between those lines on the flat Earth are all the same as they are in reality. So challenge 2 was to debunk the curve seen by Mage 2. Okay, so take my Mage experimental video, Mitch. Make sure you're using the video with the right camera. Here's a big clue. It's the one with the bloody strings on it, so you don't try and debunk the balloon cam. Produce a video on that. Okay, and I will do a dedicated response to it. Challenge number 3 was to come on a stream with a physicist to discuss Coriolis, and we'll see who understands it best at a layman's level, you or I, because I'm willing to bet you £1 to a penny it's me and that you're a blithering fool. Challenge number 4 is a simple one. Call out Anthony Riley's behaviour. So you're not conceding anything about flat or globe Earth. You're just saying that Anthony Riley's behaviour about targeting children, as he has admitted in several postings, condemn that as inappropriate and wrong, if you have any decency. And the final one was to come on a stream with someone who has knowledge of sextants. Have a discussion with them. No, it's not a debate. Okay, it's not win or lose. Let's see how much you really know and see if you can learn something. I will organise it. I will find someone and I will literally be a host. Nothing more. Okay? Simple. So, Mitchell goes away, goes bye-bye. Well, I wonder how his stream went. Guys, you've been phenomenal tonight. I don't know what the peak viewer was. I certainly saw it about 240 a couple of hours in, which is really good. And we've still got 220 now. Absolutely amazing. I love you all. I hope you've been impressed with Mitchell's evidence. I hope that you managed to stay awake, apart from the ones that have already nodded off. That's why I've got so many people. They've all fallen asleep and forgotten to sign off. Hey, I'll take it. Perhaps they could do that again when there's adverts in it on a restream. Effie peer review, good stream tonight. A bit painful. Yeah, it was. Thanks for this. My pleasure-ish. I honestly hope you all enjoyed it. I thought it had to be done. It was so much stupid. It's not that this guy doesn't understand Polaris, or this guy doesn't understand how Mage works, or this guy can't grasp a sextant. This guy doesn't know anything about anything. Absolutely nothing. It is really embarrassing. Right, just before I round off, I don't know what I've got coming up in the next couple of days. I'm on to a couple of early shifts, so I'm not going to get much done in the next couple of days. Where are we? It's Tuesday, isn't it? I shall endeavour to get something done for Friday or Saturday. It may end up being a stream on Friday. Not sure. I'll have to see how it goes. Trying to fit it in around real life. You know how it goes. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Let's get that back. I hope you've all enjoyed it, because I have. It's been great. I hope Mitchell watches it. I don't know how his stream went. I think he had about 5 or 6 people waiting for it. Still, he could have come into this stream. Although I've got to be fair on that, I didn't have time to talk to him anyway. So I'm going to round out. It's 3 hours exactly, and I'm rather gasping for a drink. Thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Those first-time visitors, you're welcome. Oh, I've just seen a super chat's just come up. I better read that, hadn't I? Oh, was that only just? Oh, I see. It's just appeared on stream. That's very delayed. Bob the Sun. Oh no, it's another one from Bob Cadle. Thank you, Bob. $5 Australian. I thought it was the previous super chat delayed. Bob the Science Guy is all over the sextant. Lol. He certainly is. Because he has one. He knows how to use one. Mitchell doesn't. Yeah. Right. I'm going to say thank you very much. Take care. Good night. Oh yeah, I was just saying, all you new people, very welcome. Everyone who's just joined in and watched, made comments, all my subscribers, all my members, all my patrons, thank you all. Take care and stay sensible.
Mr. Sensible, Mr. Sensible, bring me some cheese, and get me only the best if you please, best if you please. Here are some flowers, let me display them. Yea, better one, or you have You are a man. Every subscriber is a faithful fan. Bring your logic and your cheese. Mr. Sensible, help us out, please. Mr. Sensible, Mr. Sensible, I needed proof of gravity, so I jump off the roof, It's hard enough, let me go further. Why was I ever such a darn flat earther, Mr. Sensible, I'm such a clown, I am the laughing stock of the town, Bring your logic and your cheese, Mr. Sensible, help me out, please. Mr. Sensible, bring me a sphere, to which the waters of the oceans adhere, have explanations that let me be candid, so clear that all the fluffers understand it, Mr. Sensible, please hear my call, the earth is not flat, so let's have a ball, so bring your logic and your cheese, Mr. Sensible.